Welcome to episode 72 of the Wilderness Podcast, your show done by casuals, made for casuals. I'm your host, Dilz, and with me is Dingus.
Yo, how's it going? Dingus here.
Fucking Dingus Magoo, how's it going?
Oh, you know, it's pretty good. Can't really complain.
How was your week? Anything exciting happen?
Nope. What about you? No, of course.
I was gonna say shit, I'm not ready.
I have a bunch of shit to go over. Well, kind of. Not really. Maybe. We'll see. So,
all right.
Last week, I think I said I started doing raids, right?
Yeah, you started streaming some raids, doing some solos and duos, and
yeah. So my first solo raid was 3 hours long.
Yep.
And I don't know what I said my kill count is, but I'm over 30 now.
Nice, not bad.
So I've done over 20 raids this week.
So what's a raid usually average out to about, time-wise?
It's kind of hard to, like, it's not definitive. It really varies from person to person, but I average about, maybe my average is like hour 10 solo.
Okay. I
have gotten a couple sub 1 hours though, which is nice. The thing is that raids really vary on what rooms you have and how many rooms you get, because you can get max rooms where you have like 5 combat rooms and 3 skilling rooms, and then like, oh, this is an hour and a half raid. Okay, let's go. Like if I'm doing it really well, it's an hour and a half. But there's people that do them in under 30 minutes with max gear and stuff, right?
Right. Okay.
So it I don't know. Yeah. So that being said, I've done like 20 raids. I'm going to say like the first 18 kill counts I got, I averaged on like 1 to 2% rolls in the unique table. So the way it works, we talked about it like a year ago, but so when you're doing raids, you get points, and those points determine how much loot you get, or if you get a chance to roll a unique, which is like, you know, twisted bow, dragon throwing axes, like all that stuff.
Yeah.
So every 7,125 points you get is a hard 1% chance on the table, and I think you can get like, you know, 0.8. So you can have like a 3.8% chance, right? It doesn't just start and stop at 1.
Okay.
Like there's not like 1% increments or whatever. I don't think so, at least. So yeah, it was like the first like 18ish. I averaged at like 1 to 2% because, you know, I would suicide an inventory in Ulm, and then I would die to Ulm, just messing up.
And
so generally, unless you're like max gear and you're really, really good with like hundreds of kill count, when you go and kill Ulm, you bring in a full inventory of like revitalizations and like restores and brews. You go suicide, so you have more supplies in the fight because, you know, that stays in the ground for a long time.
Yeah, he's a tough one.
Yeah. But now I average at like 4%, so I only die at Ulm. Like I only suicide at Ulm, and I can do the raid no problem.
Nice. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's nice. You average like 200 to 400k per completion of the raid, so it's pretty shitty money. If I'm averaging an hour 10 and I'm getting say 300k per kill count,
yeah,
pretty shitty money. That being said, though, I teased about it because I should say this, I've streamed a shit ton this week. I streamed like pretty much all my raids. Like my stream quality has gone up since like day 1 because I was just fiddling with it.
Right,
I did like a lot of things to just improve my stream, so like it actually is like better resolution. I can stream in 1080p and all that stuff. With no issues because yeah, it's kind of hard on the processor, but I went and fixed all that stuff. But I teased about this in our Discord and stuff. I finally got a unique.
Oh yeah, I saw the little picture there, and it fucking, I was like, really? I was like, really? I'm gonna have to wait until the recording to hear about this?
Yeah, so, do you want to hear what it is?
Is it dragon throwing axes? How much are those worth?
400k.
What? A dragon throwing axe?
For 100, sorry. You get 400k though, because you always get 100 from the raid.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, 3k each, 3k a pop.
Yeah, longsword is 400k. I think they're both like 5.8% or something chance to get.
I want to guess you got the short sword?
Nope.
If it's the twisted bow, I'm gonna...
No, I said it wasn't the twisted bow. I wouldn't tease about that. I'd fucking, hey, hey, you guys want to go hang out at the GE? Oh, look, I have a twisted bow. That's weird. Oh, shit.
Look, I got a max cash stack.
Yeah.
And chuck it at the duel arena.
So I ended up getting Ancestral Robe Top.
Oh, shit. That's, what are those worth? You know, I guess obviously,
600 mil? No, I'm kidding.
No.
I'm kidding. 99 mil I sold it for.
900 mil, though. That's fucking,
yeah.
What? That's sick. So that's probably one of the bigger drops you can get from the raids, right?
Yeah, so it's a 3.57, 1 in 28 chance to get on that table.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do a quick breakdown. So you have a 20, pretty much, I'll just round all the numbers. So you have a 24% chance to get a Dexterous or a Arcane Prayer Scroll. Dexterous is like 80 mil, Arcane's like 10 mil.
Both would be nice to get.
Yeah, but yeah. And then there's 3 items on the 6% chance, which is the sword, Dragon Sword, the Harpoon, and the Throwing Axes.
Wow, so those are more rare than the other shit.
Those are, yeah, way more rare. And 2 of them are 400k, the Harpoon's 4.6 mil.
Yeah, that's funny how that works out.
Yeah, there's 2 items in the, like, 5% chance, which is Twisted Buckler, which is, like, 15 mil. The Dragon Hunter Crossbow, which is, like, 50 mil. Which is weird, because it used to be 20 mil, like, a month ago.
Shit, probably even less than that.
Yeah, it sucks. I bought mine for like 50 mil or something like that. 49 mil I think I bought it for. I don't know. I bought it for a lot though. And then we have, I think it's 6. Yeah, it's 6 items on like the 3.5% chance. You have Din's Bulwark, Ancestral Hat, top, bottom, Dragon Claws.
Nice, okay.
So the Bulwark's 12 mil, Hat's 16 mil, the top is 99 mil. Robe is 70 mil, claws are 78 mil.
Wow, okay.
So I got I'm so happy I got the best item on, like, I'm pretty lucky for, okay, I was supposed to, like, statistically, you know, getting onto the rare drop table was, like, pretty likely, just how the percentages work and how many raids I've done. But getting that specific item obviously is really lucky. The 1 in 28, and it's, like, the 4th most expensive item on the table. The only thing beating it is a third most. The only things beat it is the Twisted Bow and the Kodai insignia.
Oh,
the insignia is 105 mil, and then the Twisted Bow is like 1 bill.
Wow, yeah,
yeah. So
big differences there, but still 99 mil. That's fucking that's like 3/4 of my bank.
Yeah, it's fucked. I was super happy. I'll just say this. So there's 3 items that are on the 2% drop table, 2.38 exactly. Elder Maul, Kodai, and Twisted Bow. So I was pretty close to actually hitting that table, I guess. Kind of. I mean, in percentage-wise, but I'm not going to complain because, you know, 99 mil in my bank. The Elder Maul is 66 mil. It's been going up, though, because of Rev Caves.
Right.
Everything's been going up because of Rev Caves. We'll talk about. I'll bitch about that in a bit. Don't worry, guys.
Sick. Can't wait.
Yeah, Kodai. Yeah, I already said the price of the Kodai and Twisted. So, anyways, that robe ended up getting me my Dragon Warhammer, and then I was able to sell my Sorry, what?
No, I was thinking, you got that back.
Yeah. Got my Warhammer back. I sold my BGS, and I was able to buy the Hunter Crossbow.
Damn.
So here's the thing. When I started raids, my item goal was the hammer and then the crossbow, and I thought that was going to be like 3-4 weeks to get. I got lucky, got it in a week.
Yeah, sounds about right.
So I'm like, fuck, I have to figure out what I'm getting next. And so far, it's either I'm going to go for full Arma or Tormented Bracelet and then like Arma Legs or something.
Yeah.
I still have to figure out that, exactly how I'm going to get all that. Because, Dragon Warhammer is like the best spec weapon for raids.
Yep.
Obviously, it's so good. And the Dragon Hunter Crossbow is the second best range weapon against Ulm.
Best being Twisted Bow?
Yep.
Okay, fair enough.
And Hunter Crossbow is the best against Vorkath, so...
Fair enough.
Yeah, my Vorkath kills are decent now.
Oh shit, yeah, that's pretty dope.
You're just hitting like 70 pluses on them and stuff. It's nuts.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. yeah, so like a lot of raiding and stuff done. Like I already have my prayers and shit. So when you're doing raids, I might have said this, but the most important thing is Dragon Warhammer for raids, and then after that, it's the rigor.
Okay.
So like I'm pretty like ahead of schedule. But yeah, I've been doing a lot of raids, and I want to say before I did that solo and got that ancestral robe, I like sent my buddy a message, "Yo, dude, let's do a duo." He doesn't respond. I'm like, all right, he's probably
man.
And like I was talking to him like earlier that day, and I'm pretty sure his girlfriend, he just got pulled, like she pulled aggro or something. He just couldn't get away from her. I don't really know. So I'm like, all right, fuck, that sucks. And I go and message another friend who had never done a raid before, but I'm trying to get them into doing raids so I have people to duo with. And they're like, and they give me the same fucking excuse. Oh, I'm too tired. I just don't feel like it. Maybe tomorrow. They've been saying that for like a month straight, and like, well, maybe tomorrow. I'm like, all right, fuck it, I'll go do a solo. And then I get that. So good thing they didn't come because I didn't have to split.
Yeah, that works out in the end, doesn't it?
Oh, it works out so well.
So since you're more seasoned in the raids department,
yeah,
you want to give us a rundown on like some of the stats that you should have before you start looking to start doing raids, and some of the starter items. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people aren't going to jump into raids with a Dragon Warhammer and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, of course not. I mean, yeah. So if you're a skiller, the most important thing is like 67 farming, 78 herb lore if you're like a skiller. And that's all you need. 90
no combat stats?
If you're like a level 3 skiller specifically.
Oh, okay.
9, but like it'll be kind of if you only skill, that's your only thing you're doing, like get 90 herb lore. 78, like some people will let you in, but like the good ones want you to be 90. And 78 is for overloads, and 90 is for overload pluses, which are busted as hell.
Is that just more stats? Like a bigger boost it gives you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a big difference. I don't know the exact numbers, but like, yeah, there's a big difference. But yeah, so if you're just a normal person and you're on a budget, you have to have Western Hard Diaries done for full elite void. So you have melee, range, and mage, and then the upgraded, top, bottom, and then like the gloves and shit. I would say like primordials or Pegasians. Pegasians are preferred, but they're a little bit more than primordials. You can bring dragon boots, but like, trust me, you're gonna need like it's not that good to have dragon boots. Like, yeah, primordial.
So one or the other, you think?
I would say if you have an option, get Pegasians, because Pegasians are like way more important for raids.
Okay.
Hasta is you need it no matter what. It's 100% needed. Obviously, Dragon Defender and a Fury necklace, or you can bring like Anguish, Occult, and Torment. That's obviously better. But yeah, Fury you need, Berserker Ring, like some sort of crossbow as well.
Like we talking rune?
You can. I brought a rune for a couple, for a decent amount actually. For a little, like probably like 12 raids, 12 kill count. I brought rune. Hey, you can bring rune. You need a crossbow. You need blowpipe. A salve amulet is really nice. It's very, very helpful.
What do you use that for?
There are skeleton mages, and they're weak. Salve works on them.
Okay. And
yeah, it's super. You don't need it though, but it's luxury, but it's super easy to get. You just do Haunted Mines quest, and then you can do Kane's Lair, which takes 30 seconds. It's so fast, and then.
If you have 75 crafting, you can make a Slayer ring, teleport straight to the lair, run in and do your thing, and then you can get it upgraded.
Yeah, you have to walk in first, though. You have to enter it first before you can use the Slayer ring teleport.
No, I was able to teleport straight there.
You probably did it after or during Haunted Mines.
Well, the thing is, I did Haunted Mines for the Salve Amulet, and I was reading a guide, and it said the part that takes a while is actually getting to the lair. You have to go through a bunch of bullshit, apparently.
Yep.
But I had the Slayer ring, and I was able to teleport straight to right outside the room that you walk into.
Maybe they changed that. I remember, I did it a long time ago, but I had to run Because I remember I had a clue scroll, or I had something that made me go there, and I tried teleporting with Slayer Ring, and it wouldn't let me. This was a long time ago. They could have changed it.
Yeah, no, yeah, I just did it recently, like maybe did it a month ago.
Oh, okay, yeah, I did mine like last year. They could have changed it. We might have actually talked about it. I don't know. But yeah, I guess if you can teleport there now, that's nice. Definitely like a good convenience thing. Because walking there is kind of a bitch.
Yeah, that's what I read, and then I was like kind of dreading, so I was like, that seems tedious. But yeah, I was able to teleport straight there, and I was thinking like, wow, that's kind of fucking busted, but whatever. Mm-hmm. And quickly to go back, so you said the rune crossbow. What are you using that for? Or a crossbow, I should say.
There are some guys, Mutadiles, skeleton mages, shamans. I might be missing another one, but there's some of them where you can use a blowpipe. You use a blowpipe and the crossbow. So with the skeleton mages, you'll use the crossbow only if you can't blowpipe them. And like when I say that, like as in you go to blowpipe them and now two of them are hitting you. You only want one of them to be hitting you at a time.
Oh, so since the crossbow has longer range, you can stay back a bit more.
Yep, and you can also put it on long range too, and
Okay.
Yeah, get extra space. Same thing with Mutadiles, but the Mutadiles, you'll want to safe spot them. And for one of the safe spots that is actually super busted, you need long range crossbow to do it.
Okay.
And then shamans, it's much easier to crossbow them than to blowpipe, because like you don't get to wear Xerix. I mean, not Xerix, sorry. Whatever the fucking Shazian. Yeah, you don't wear Shazian in the raids. And so those acid bombs really hurt, and like attacking with the blowpipe and moving every step is kind of difficult, and you might walk into another shaman and aggro too, or like mess up. So it's just better to, sit at the wall and crossbow them and just run around in circles.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, you should really bring both.
Interesting to note. So you got the rune crossbow, which is pretty damn cheap. It's like 20k maybe less.
Yep.
And you also have the recently added dragon crossbow.
Yep.
So I just looked this up as we were talking. 7.7 mil for a dragon crossbow. But a dragon crossbow unstrung is 9.9 mil. 2.2 mil more.
Yeah, makes sense. Who's going to buy an unstrung crossbow?
But why is it selling for more? That's the question.
People probably just put them up and like whatever,
Fair enough. I'm thinking... Yeah, I don't know. That one's a little bit more confusing.
Yeah, sometimes the prices just need time to kind of catch up to each other.
You know what? I think you're right. I'm looking up on the RS Buddy GE Exchange, whatever, tracker, and it says only one is sold like every day.
Yeah.
So maybe you're right there. I was thinking like maybe this is some crazy fletching experience method.
Nah, it's so undertraded that people just have an offer up there. Just, maybe I'll make some money. Fuck it,
Fair enough.
Yeah. Like you need to bring a pickaxe and stuff like that. It's kind of weird. So you can bring a woodcutting axe if you're on solo. So it's weird. There's things you do in solo that you wouldn't do in others. So like in solo, you can bring an axe. I don't. You bring an axe though, just in case you get Mutadiles first room.
Okay.
And what you do is, or you just get Mutadiles in general, but if you bring an axe, the benefit is when you get Mutadiles as your very first room, you just run in and suicide and just keep cutting the tree. Don't even use any food. You just keep like range prayer up and you just sit there and woodcut and do it over and over again, because you lose like 30 points. So which is nothing. And then once you cut the tree, you suicide and then you just run in and just do the room. Okay. I don't bring an axe anymore just because I bring a lot more items than I started, and I need more room for potions, and I'll just skip it. But you get axes pretty easily, just from the scavengers, or if you have an ice demon room, you get an axe right there, and you don't even suicide later on. But in duos and stuff like that, you don't bring an axe because you don't even cut the tree. You guys just sit far back and just range him and run around if he gets too close, and yeah. If he starts eating the tree, it's not a big deal because you can just out DPS it. Yeah, it's super weird. You need a rune pouch though. It's a must. Because you need to put water strikes in for Ulm. Then you're not going to waste 3 inventory spots for runes when you can just spend 2 mil and have a rune pouch, which you're going to be needing anyways for other things.
Yeah, it's great to have. If you don't have one and you're getting to like a higher level, it's really nice to have. Especially if you're doing Slayer and shit, you throw in your Alk runes in there and it saves an inventory slot, which doesn't seem like much, but in the long run, it does help out.
Trident is a must.
Okay, so that's your mage weapon.
Yeah. That's pretty much it for like basic stuff. Very, very basic, I believe. Like a BGS would be really nice too. You should bring one. I mean, it's not like, oh, I don't have a BGS, I can't do rage. You probably can. Ulm will be a lot harder and slower though. And just in general, like, because the hands can kind of be tanky. They have a lot of health and you want to be hitting consistently. So like you really should bring a BGS. But like you could do without one. But yeah, you kind of need one. Cause I've done without a BGS and like no defensive, negative bonus spec weapon type thing. And it's adds like a 20-minute timer onto your raids. You know what I mean?
Yeah, gotcha.
So it's like spend the extra 10 mil. It's not a big deal. I think that's it. There might be something I'm missing, but
what are we thinking stat-wise? What's a good stat range to be able to start looking to get a group together?
Well, if you're looking for other people, like if you're like, I'm going to go join a CC or I'm going to go into the Chamber of Xeric world, like max, just max your melee and shit. Because like people won't, like
let's say you're getting a group together with some buddies. What would be
with buddies? Because the raids scale to your level.
Yeah.
As long as you guys, because you need to have you need to be over 100 to get full Elite Void.
Yep.
And so you have to be at least over level 100. And if you're just doing it with a friend, just be near his level. That's like the best you can do. But like the only reason why I'm saying, like, if you're looking to play with random people in Chambers of Xeric world, like they're all maxed or like pretty much maxed and they're going to like not take you. I went there looking for people and you see like a level like 112 and I'd go do a raid and come out and he's still there. And I'm like, okay, go do another solo raid, come out and he's still there. And you're like, oh my god. And I'm like, yo, have you been here the whole time? He's like, yep. Man, just go do a solo. I can't though. It's too hard. It's like, well, of course it's like doing your first solo is a bitch. You just gotta, took me 3 hours to do my first solo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Second one was 2 hours. Third one was an hour and a half. And then like, now I'm consistently like around it like a hour 10 or under.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's just, it's a process, but yeah, like.
So you're saying once you get the items for raids, you can start trying to find a group if you wanted to, as long as they're in the same level range?
Well,
like a group of let's say 3 level 100s.
So if you
be able to be okay out there,
it's kind of hard because like I've only really done them at max, and the fights do seem kind of long. I don't know how much it scales down, so it's a little bit tricky. And like everyone I know that's under 120, or everyone I've seen under 120 trying to do raids have like the thing is they don't even try to solo it, and all they've done is try and find random people, and no one wants to take them in. So that might be a bit of a bitch, but like I would seriously recommend, if you want to start getting into raids like pretty like seriously, like to max out first. Because the thing is when you're spamming raids, it's like you're committing 30 plus hours. Like, okay, for me, I spent over 35 hours getting my Ancestral Robe Top in total, like adding all my raids together and like, like the learning process as well. So getting my next one, quotes, my next unique won't take 35, take a lot less, but like from raid 1 to like now, it took 35 hours. And you get 100 mil, but you'd get like between 50, like the first, 15, I got like 100k worth of like alkables, or like notables, sorry, not alkables. But now I'm getting 400k. Like it averaged around like 3.5 mil an hour, but that's after 35 hours.
Yeah, okay.
So it's kind of daunting, and like you can do Slayer or Rev Ks, which I'll complain about later. You can do Slayer for like 1 mil an hour, Rev Ks for a lot more than that. Like an average person could probably pull like 2 mil an hour. You can do Vorkath for like 2 mil an hour, like, but you get that stuff at the end of that hour. Like it's like instantaneous pretty much. When you get the kill, you get the money.
Mm-hmm.
So like raids, you want to max out pretty much. Like I'm not fully max. I have like 94 magic. I got 97 range this week just through like Slayer and raids and bossing. And I'm maxed melee with like 77 prayer with all the, and it's still like, it took me a lot of time. And, you know, I'm committing an hour per raid, and, you know, you walk out with 400k. So like, if you're looking for instantaneous money, it's like, and you want like, you know, you're lower level, it's probably going to take you a lot more than an hour.
Yeah, for sure.
And like, man, my first solo, I had like 4 or 5 attempts where I just had to leave because I couldn't do it anymore. I complained about it in one podcast, how I needed more than 4 attempts on Vespula because I can't do it in 4 attempts. And you only get 3 to 4 because you bring an antidote and it poisons you. And if you have shamans beforehand or whatever, like, so it's kind of a daunting task if you're getting into it. But raids is super fun. Getting the drops or getting that drop felt so fucking, that's the biggest drop I've ever gotten. Like, just like that. Like, in, like, one moment, it was, like, the second time, or I think it was the second time I'd ever had more than 100 mil just sitting in my bank. The first time was when I staked the Warhammer 1 and then sold it. And then the second time is through raids. But, like, this time it felt earned, you know what I mean? It was like, fuck yeah. Definitely. I spent, like, 35 hours grinding this shit out. I could have easily done Vorkath, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could have easily just sat there for 35 hours killing Vorkath over and over again, and I probably would have made maybe a little bit less. I don't even know what I average at Vorkath, or like I could have done revs for that same amount. The main thing is, like, raid supplies do kind of add up. There was a couple times where I ran out of supplies and I hadn't gotten a drop and I'm fucking broke. So I sell my Slayer tab and then I have to go do Vorkath for like 2 hours.
Damn.
And then use that money, buy all my supplies and go back in, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I would say, like, try to have base 90s.
Yeah, that's what I pictured it being like. Level 120 is when you start thinking about raids. That's what, in my head. That's what I had. That was my idea of raids. But yeah, obviously it's the end game content, right? It's,
yeah.
You know, maxed accounts is what you would do with a party of maxed players.
Yeah, and like. When I'm chilling at Xerix and like I see everyone in max gear, I'm one of the few people like 123 in full void. You know what I mean? A lot of people are 126, like maxed accounts with max capes in like max gear, and they're doing raids. Yeah, I don't know. Like I would probably just say like, I mean, raids are super fun. So like if you want to do them, just go get the basic gear and start trying them out. But like, long term, it's probably better to like stick to Slayer and bossing when you're bored, just like God Wars dungeon bosses or whatever when you're bored, until you have like, I would even like, I honestly want to say like 95 plus in your melee stats and like 90 range and like 90 magic, just because like, yeah, I don't know, raids are, it's kind of a bitch. They're pretty difficult. It's fun. It's really fun though.
Yeah, that's cool. Pretty good piece of content that they brought into the game. Fucking a little over a year ago, isn't it?
Yeah,
last January. So cool shit.
Yeah, still getting a lot of use.
Yeah, for sure. And it gives us lots of promise for the next raids coming out.
Yeah.
So besides raids, what else you get up to?
Vorkath.
Vorkath, fair enough.
All right. What'd you do this week?
Okay, let's see. I'm on my way to level 98 attack. We're getting pretty close. I'll have that tonight for sure.
Nice.
What else did I do? And I got an Aviancies task. So I decided I'm going to try to kill Armadil. I talked about it before when I tried to kill Armadil, and it was like a pathetic attempt where like I was with some people from the I was with some people from the clan chat. I think it was just actually one other person, and we were able to get one kill before we had to get out of there. And yeah, it's just a pretty hard boss. But this time around, I tried soloing it, and I tried some of the other methods. So there's basically 2 methods you can do. There's the Chinchompa method, and then there's just the rune crossbow method. Oh, not the rune crossbow, but the crossbow method, I should say. With the chins, basically, you get into the room, you get yourself into the corner. So you got the Armadillo boss, which is Kriera, and then you got 3 minions, and there's like a magic, a ranged, and a melee minion. And the idea is to get into the corner so the melee guy comes to you, and so does the Armadillo boss. And then you throw chins at the melee guy, and he's got a low range defense. So then when you hit the melee dude, it'll splash and hit Kriera for the same damage or close to it. The problem with Armadillo, and I guess this doesn't count for the chin method, but when you're not focusing her, she'll melee you, which can do some hefty damage. But luckily with the chins, you're constantly hitting her and whatnot.
Yeah, with the chin method, you click her, like you attack, you throw your chin at the melee guy that's on her, like under her, because you're standing in a corner or whatever. And then as your Chinchampa's flying at him, you click on Kriara, and then you click back for your next attack to throw at him, because your Chinchampa's deal damage based on the primary target hit. So the melee minion has less defense, so you do more damage, or you'll in general, to Kriara, and that prevents her from doing her little melee frenzy thing.
Okay, interesting. So I wasn't doing it like that, so that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So maybe disregard what I'm about to say, because I was just straight attacking the melee dude, and it's a little expensive. I was using black chins, and they're like 3k each, and I found I was able to get like 1 or 2 kills per trip with that method, but now that you mentioned that, it makes sense, because I was just getting hit like a truck.
Yeah, Kriara is the easiest boss to kill in God Wars.
No kidding.
Yeah, she does. You protect from missiles, and then you do that. People also bring Blood Barrage, I believe.
Oh.
Yeah, and they just have a full inventory of brews, pretty much, brews and restores, and
yep.
They shred it. Yeah, anyways, go on, sorry.
No, I was going to say, I was getting destroyed with the chins, so then I came back and I decided to just try going ruby bolts and diamond bolts and just kind of attacking her straight on, and then I'd blow pipe the minions. And I was able to get about 5 kills per trip, which I thought was pretty good.
Have you tried Black Salamanders?
I read about that, but I didn't try it only because I figured it wouldn't be as strong as just going ruby bolts and diamond bolts.
Okay.
You got any experience with that?
No, but I think you bring high range defense gear.
Okay.
So
true.
Toregs or Bandos, because I think you use a Black Salamander. I think it's its melee attack, or it's range. I'm pretty sure it's melee. It could be range though. I'd have to double check that.
So the interesting with the Salamander is it has so we all know that with your different weapons, you have different attack styles. You usually got like an accurate, a strength, and a defensive attack. With the Salamander, you get a melee, ranged, and magic-based attack, depending on which style you're clicking. Now, I don't know if that makes it ranged or not, but I do know that the damage is like based, magic or range or melee, depending on which one you click.
Experience and all that.
Yeah, so that's a pretty unique weapon. It's a shame we don't see too much of it, but I guess it's not very strong.
I mean, it has its niche. I guess you can bring it to Arma, and I was thinking you could bring Black Salamanders with like full range defense, and then bring like Aram Switch for Blood Barrages too to help you stay there.
Yeah, because with the Armadillo boss, you do need a ranged attack, so that's, I guess we'd have to see, because I'm not sure if the Salamander is actually I guess it would have to be, because it was one of the methods of killing it. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. And I guess this is just going to be a little, not a teaser, but we can link it to the conversation later on this episode. Fighting God Wars bosses is expensive until you get a good drop.
I guess, Kriara, yeah. Kriara is really expensive.
Because the Sarah brews and the restores, I bring 15
and
brews.
And the gems, yeah. So, Arma is really expensive. Bandos if you're soloing. Zamrock is just awful. Don't do Zamrock. Never. You just pretend that guy doesn't exist. He's fucking... Unless you're an Iron Man, then I guess you kind of have to kill him at some point, but... I don't know. Pretend he doesn't exist. Zamorak sucks. He's like as hard as Bandos, and he is like drops like a 10 mil item. It's his best item. Sarah though is definitely the easiest, and you can also get the God Sword and the ACB.
Yep.
Because I think it's lore-wise, Zilyana stole the crossbow from Kriara.
Oh, so that's how that happens. Yeah. I was wondering, why the fuck isn't the Armadillo crossbow on the Kriara drop table?
Yeah, Zilyana's a little sneaky bitch. Yeah, generally though, you kind of... I mean, Kriara's like different, but for the other three, like you kind of break even for a long time, or you lose money, but generally you'll break even and then make a lot of money. Like I did like a 9-hour Sarah trip in terms of like, or a Sarah like kill. Like me and my buddy just grinded like a whole Saturday killing Sarah, and we walked out with like a mil profit each.
Yeah, I could see
like
that.
Less, like a little bit more than 100K an hour. You know what I mean? And we got 2 Ceridom swords. Like it's shit until you get like, you know, one nasty item that's 40 mil, which I've yet to get, but soon.
Yeah, so the reason I'm bringing this up, just to link it to later on, I'm sure everyone knows what we're going to be talking about and why I'm bringing this up, but yeah, you get like an Armadillo kill, and you're like, boom, oh, what did I get? 20K cash drop. Oh, wow, cool. And I just spent like 30K trying to kill him. You know what I mean? Like
Monkfish. I guess I can stay here for another trip.
Maybe. Hopefully.
Fuck. Yeah.
So it's funny how that works out. And then recently, just today, I had the Vedian kill. Or, not Vedian, but I had the Vedian Slayer task.
Yep.
I decided to kill 35. I went out there, tried to kill him the first time. He hits hard. He's kind of reminds me of Calphite Queen, where he just has these hard hits that you can't defend against. And
wait, you're not safe spotting Vedian?
So I tried him once, and I got like 1 kill, and then I said, fuck that. Went back, looked up a safe spot method, and went and tried to do that. So you gotta just lure him to his, like, there's like
Dwarven
square. Yeah, you lure him outside of his wandering zone, I guess. And then you have to walk under him, and it pushes him outside of that zone, and he just stops moving. Yeah. And he doesn't attack you, and you can just melee him to death.
Yeah.
So I did that, and it's kind of pathetic that that's the way to kill it. Like, if you go on YouTube and you type in Vedian guide, good luck finding an actual guide. All the guides you're going to find are how to safe spot him. Yeah. Every fucking guide is just how to safe spot him. So, yeah, that's kind of, it's kind of sad that that's the way it is. So, it's understandable why everyone's safe spotting him, because he's hard to kill. But it's just like, it's sad that that's like the standard way of killing him. But yeah, I did that. And then when you're safe spotting him, you don't really need to pay attention. You attack him. He spawns these like skeletal hellhounds that you can kill. You just pray melee and kill them. Then you finish him off basically. I was half AFKing, and I got PK'd and smited and lost my Dragon Defender. So that kind of fucking sucks.
Do you not have extras?
No, I didn't have extras, and he's in 33 Wilderness.
Yep.
So yeah, I lost the Dragon Defender and went back, and then I realized in order to get the Dragon Defender, you need to have a Rune Defender.
You don't have a Rune Defender?
No. And in order to get a Rune Defender, yeah, I had to go back and basically kill... Oh, yeah, this was so fucking annoying. I had to go back and get my Bronze Defender, and then I had to go through all the Defenders again. It was rough. I had to grind out tokens because I didn't have any tokens, so I had to start from basics. Went and bought a rune set, grind out like 1,000, and then I'm playing RimWorld on the side because I'm just like, this is bullshit. I'm all pissed off and shit.
Yeah.
And I AFK'd a bit too much, and somebody picked up my fucking rune, my full rune set. So.
Oh my god! Wait, why are you using? Just use Mithril. More tokens per hour.
Yeah, but rune was more AFK. I would like click the fight, and then I go to RimWorld and do some shit on there, and that's the problem. I got
clearly not AFK enough.
Yeah, well, yeah. I look over and I'm like, hey, where's my rune set? And then I see this fucking noob summon a rune set, and I was like, give it back. You know what I mean? Just fucking give it, dude. Yeah, so I gotta grind up my Dragon Defender still. That's where I'm currently at in RuneScape this week. But something kind of cool that I noticed, I guess it's a little pro tip for anyone. If anyone's playing on their account from fucking way back in the day, or your RuneScape 3 account if you're playing it on, and you're not playing RuneScape 3 anymore, since the introduction of the invention skill, a lot of items have gone up in price, and a lot of these items are basically clue scroll items. So go out and clear your banks out, because you might have some items in there that are worth a pretty penny. I've gone on my account before and I would clear out the bank of all this shit, and I made like 8 mil. This is when I first started, like 8 mil, then I fucking swapped it over. And yeah, I gave myself a little boost there. But I went on this week just to see what's up, because it's been a long time since I was able to go on. And sometimes when I try to remember about the treasure hunter little microtransaction gambling game they got going on there, I try to jump on once a day to do my rolls and hopefully get that 200 mil drop, or get some decent items that I can buy bonds with, basically, and get some free membership on my account.
Mm-hmm.
And I went on, decided to go in the bank and just sell some shit. I was able to sell 25 mil worth of clue scroll items on my RuneScape 3 account. And a bond is going for 16 mil right now.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, so one thing that like really surprised me, and I don't remember why I had this. So back in the day, this isn't actually my main account from 2004. This is my pure account, and I ended up giving away my main account. So there's a bunch of random items on here that I don't understand why I have them. But I had 25 U composite bows, and they sell for about 500k each.
Damn. Yeah, invention. OP.
Yeah, pretty crazy. So definitely go out there and check. You might have some decent items on, like a boat. I had a boater, this stupid straw cap, sold it for 500k.
Nice.
Bunch of items. I had trimmed adamant, sold that for 800k a piece. Like it's unreal what some of the items are worth. So a little tip for anyone out there who might have some stuff on their bank account. Go ahead and drop that. Go buy yourself a bond. Get that free 2 weeks of membership. Yeah, you're golden.
Mm-hmm.
But besides that, that's basically all the exciting things that I've done this week. Yeah, should be. I guess with that being said, we will move on to this week's news.
Yeah.
All right, so what did we see happen this week in old school RuneScape?
So we'll talk about the quality of life stuff from last week, like the poll that actually went through. So the skilling quality of life and then the farming timer and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And then we'll go on the PvP polls.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we know how last PvP update went. Anyways. Months later and we still have to talk about it. Anyways, so
it's great content. Perfectly sitting for the name of our podcast, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So first and foremost, the farming timer rework has been finished and it's in the game now. So there was an issue with the timing. So what would happen is like your crops would update based on in-game ticks, and they would start and stop when you log in and out. So it would be like you could potentially like place like an oak tree and log in and out and have it never ever grow.
Yeah.
Like things like it was such a stupid system and how it worked. And yeah, they kind of, Modash spent a long time working on it.
See, I had that problem with like the long growing trees, like the mahogany trees. They take like, it feels like 3 days to grow, and I'd plant 3 of them at the same time, log in, go to check on them, and only one of them would be grown. Yeah. So I'd chop that one down, log out, come in the next day, the other one would be grown. It would take me, on top of waiting the 3 days for them to grow, it would take each like 3 days after that to have them all chopped down and replanted.
Yeah. A little ridiculous. It was programmed, 13 years ago, so...
Yeah.
It was really weird because things like the Gnome Stronghold fruit tree patch would grow faster than the other fruit trees.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
they mentioned that the hardwood patches would have, like, you would be delayed a couple days. Anyways, they reworked it. So they're gonna, like, we'll explain how a growth tick actually works now. So imagine the game has like a clock that ticks every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes, every 20 and 40, and etc. So the fastest crops grow whenever a 5-minute tick occurs. So weeds and flowers.
Cool.
The slightly slower crops would grow whenever a 10-minute tick occurs. So crops grown in your allotments.
Strawberries, watermelons, sweet corn.
Slower crops grow whenever a 20-minute tick occurs. This applies to herbs and bushes.
Oh, those are the big ones.
Even slower crops grow whenever a 40-minute tick occurs. So trees. And then other crops would grow in an 80-minute tick. The belladonnas, 160-minute tick, fruit trees, 320-minute tick, spear trees, 640-minute tick, hardwood.
Shit.
So, for example, onions grow on the 10-minute tick. So if you've planted your seed before a 10-minute tick occurs, it'll grow when the tick happens. If you've missed it, you'll have to wait 10 minutes for the next tick to come. And it won't piggyback on the next 5-minute tick. The main problem with this system was that logging in and out at unfortunate intervals and world hopping specifically would make it so that tick would never happen.
Right.
So the new system solved that problem. So logging in and out won't stop a tick from happening. This means so once you put your seed in the ground, you'll know generally how long it'll take from its first growth tick to its fully grown state. So you have to still wait for the intervals, so they're still on the same tick system. But the system's able to like handle the logouts and world hops, you know, and it won't mess everything up. They won't offer individual timers for each patch. Let their own growth start the moment you plant it, because it's just too hard on the system.
Okay.
Yeah, so they've had to rewrite, you know, this whole code and all this stuff. Yeah, if there's any issues, just report the bugs, because they rewrote a whole portion of the game that came out, 13 years ago, and they've had to Mod Ash did it all on his own, just revamped it and completely fixed it, supposedly. I haven't seen any bugs yet, so far it seems good.
And you hear about that a lot, like whenever we have a new, a lot of content coming out, Mod Ash is going through and rewriting a bunch of specific code for it. Like I can't remember the last one was. Might have been Raids or something, or Fossil Island. I can't remember, but he cleared up 8% of the code. Yeah, some shit like that.
Yeah. So, the system has to transition from the old version to the new one. So hopefully by now it's done. By the time you hear this, it's been done. But give it a week or two. Should be more than enough time, because it's got to once your crops are done growing and all that stuff. So you got to give it some time to kind of transition to the new farming system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's a huge update. That's super nice for the skillers. Yeah, but we'll talk about what passed, and it is pretty much everything.
Sounds good to me, I guess, right?
Yeah, so search and attack options found at the end of the herbivore hunting activity have been switched, so attack will now be the left-click option.
Cool.
Jar generators now have been switched to have a left-click option on the impling jars, and a right-click for butterfly.
Fair enough.
And if a player's upgraded the fertile soil spell, if the player has the upgraded fertile soil spell unlocked, but isn't carrying any volcanic ash, they'll now be given the option to never see the warning again.
Okay.
You can now catch 2 Karambwangis at level 5 fishing, and every 5 levels past this, you'll catch an additional Karambwangi.
Okay, cool.
The scroll of redirection now uses a scroll interface when selecting which tablet to redirect on, which is pretty nice.
I just buy all mine, but
yeah. Players now store up to 1,000 buckets of each type of compost on the tool leprechaun, and they've also allowed empty buckets too. I don't know if you can put noted. It doesn't specify, so I still think you're unable to put the noted in.
Yeah, I see a lot of people complaining about that. Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of compost.
This is a huge buff to Ultimate Iron Man.
Oh yeah,
huge definitely. Fucking buff, huge buff. No
kidding.
And might as well store all your Actually, if you can't put them in noted, it might not be worth it, but you can free up some bank space by giving it to the Tool Leprechaun guy.
What I always do is whenever I'm doing a farm run, all my empty space gets filled out with the compost that I have in my bank, and I store it there.
Yeah, that's what I do too.
And slowly do it. Like, I don't have a problem with 1,000 compost. I just think it's unnecessary personally. I thought 255, like that was enough for me. 255 of each. Never had a problem with it, but whatever.
Yeah, it's weird, but whatever. The Tower of Life, activate, they have the left click option on activate, and then it automatically takes stuff from your inventory to do all that weird Frankenstein stuff we talked about last week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Slayer Masters remind you to only kill creatures on task while you're in the Slayer Cave. So they changed that, so they'll only do that every 30 seconds. So when you're in Neve getting hit by Bloodvelds and you're on auto retaliate, that message will pop up every 30 seconds instead of, every time you try to attack them.
Yeah, that was annoying because made it impossible to pick up your cannon. Yeah. You go to pick it up, and then someone would hit you, and it would cancel your action that's to pick up the cannon. It's pain in the arse.
Yep. The Dig Site Pendant, you can now right-click for teleport options when you're wearing it.
Perfect.
Which is nice. The bolts, leather crafting, and glass blowing now have the make all interface, but the bolts are 1, 5, and 10 intervals instead of all.
Fair enough.
Yeah. The Guardian Mummy at the Pyramid Plunder has now been given the ability to remove the remaining charges from the Pharaoh Scepter. And you can now charge the scepter with noted artifacts.
Okay.
And there's when you do the start minigame option, the dialogue of the Guardian Mummy you won't always see it. If you've seen it once, you only see it once. You don't have to go through the dialogue every time now.
Cool.
A chat box message has been added to notify that poison resistance is about to expire, and the Staff of Light now displays its special attacks effect when hovering the special attack bar.
All right.
Yeah, players may now clear our broadcast messages from their chat history by right-clicking their clear history option. So, yeah.
Cool. If you don't want to be spammed by the Twitch channel and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
If the Dead Man tournament's going on and you don't give no shit about it, you can clear that out of your chat.
Yep.
Yeah.
So items dropped in Vorkath's instance will now stay on the ground for 30 minutes like they do in the Grotesque Guardians. Okay. Din's Bulwark now applies its damage reduction effect only if wielded in a defensive stance. Which apparently they specified, but they never actually got around to doing it. So they've done that now.
Seems a bit weird, but whatever.
Pretty much it. That is it for what happened with the skilling update.
Interesting to note, I did not see them fix taking the dig site barge, only being one NPC. That was going to be in here. It's still 3 NPCs to get there, apparently. Unless they fixed it, and I just haven't paid attention.
I don't know. Who goes to Fossil Island anyways?
I do. I got some fossil wyverns to kill.
True.
I gotta make use of that Dragon Fire Shield I bought last week.
Yep. Yeah, let's this one's a little bit of a doozy to go through. So
sick.
This is the PvP quality of life update. It's week 3.
Week 3.
Yeah, dude. So there are how many questions? There's only 15 polled questions, but there is a couple unpolled questions that they're already going to do. Yeah. So 318, World 318, that's the dedicated bounty hunter world, if you didn't know. The way bounty hunter works, if you've never done it, is like you'll get a target that you can kill, and if you kill them, you have a chance to get a mysterious emblem from them, or if you already have one in your inventory, you can get it upgraded. Mm-hmm. And you also can opt into skipping the targets. On the top right, you can just click skip. And the big thing people complained about is that there'd be a lot of clans and then just random people that'd be deep wilderness. And clans would, sit in a multi-zone hoping people would, teleport to the bounty hunter target.
Yeah.
But you have to waste a lot of skips on people that are like deep wilderness. And then eventually, you're running out of skips, and now I gotta wait a while till I'm allowed to, get people. So they've reduced the penalty drastically for skipping when you are more than 5 wilderness levels apart from your target.
That's a good change, because a good thing to... an important thing to note is that bosses on the bounty hunter world have a chance of dropping the emblems.
Yep.
So there are skillers that go there just for the chance of getting those emblems.
Yep.
With like 100
PVM
each.
loot.
So yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I think like around wilderness level 5 and 6, that's where like at Edgeville, that's where like a lot of cheesy darkbow rushing is, because you can kind of abuse the bounty hunter system. By like PJ, you have a friend attack the target and then your target, and then you come in and spec because you can PJ your target and stuff.
Wow.
Well, it's to prevent PJing, but you can also do it the exact opposite way too. And that stuff, and the skull tricking and teleblock, all that jazz happens at like 5 to 6 plus wilderness. So, you know, you can just stand at the ditch and skip them if they're at 5 or 6, which is kind of nice. I like how they thought that through. Maybe it's a coincidence. Probably just is. Let's be real. But, yeah. So the next one is in PvP worlds. There are certain dangerous hotspots, and they're near teleport locations. So players are able to repeatedly cast teleports to these locations, and it prevents them from taking any damage. So let's say you're in Varrock Square, which is pretty popular in the PvP worlds. You can just, I'm about to get hit, teleport, and when you're teleporting during your, like, you know, the damage coming through, the opponent gets the experience drop, but you don't take any damage. People were abusing that for like big Gmaul specs or whatever. It was pretty common for regulars to do stuff like that too.
Okay.
So they've added a 10-second cooldown applied to the same spot, so you can't just teleport, you know, to the same spot like Varrock or whatever.
Yeah, fair enough.
The cooldown will not apply to jewelry teleports, so you could still do this at the duel arena, which I know people like to PK at, but you're gonna have to go to your equipment and stuff. It's weird. It's not really worth it.
You're limited on your charges as well.
Yep. It also prevents house portal rushing and all that stuff.
Fair enough.
Or helps negate it, I guess. Yeah, so the Mud Pie has the ability to lower a player's run energy. Because they deal no damage, it is possible to stack multiple Mud Pies on the same target, reducing their run energy to 0 in a single game cycle, or like a tick, even when you're in single combat. So first of all, Mud Pies exist. I didn't know these were an item at all. Did you know about these?
I mean, I did, but I forget. There's so many items in this game that I constantly forget. Similar to last week with that the tea flask and that lunch pail thingy.
Yeah.
I've read that they were there, and then I just forget because you don't ever need them. You never see anybody with them. Same with the Mud Pie. It's a pie that you can, I think you equipped it. You can throw it, right?
Yeah.
I don't even think you can eat it.
No. So you equipped it and you throw it, and it reduces a player's run energy. So from 100%, it goes down to 25%, and then it would go 20, 15, etc., and it goes down and down and down. But, you know, you have a clan whipping it at someone, right? Boom, no run energy. Oh, they drank a stamina. Boom, no run energy. Like, yeah. The most common way of getting these Mud Pies are from baby implings. I think that's how most people get them.
Okay.
Or they're put into the game. Kind of weird. Didn't really know it was an item, to be honest. But yeah, so they'll be applying single combat rules to Mud Pies, regardless if you're in single or multi.
Seems like an item that even the mods forgot about, right?
Yeah,
So
I mean, if you're able to
like
spam, you and your clan's able to spam someone in single. It's weird that it's not the same in multi-way combat, because forcing someone to walk is kind of smart if you could do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it should be just applied to single combat. And the thing is, Mud Pies aren't really stackable. So you have a clan, you know, they're all wasting inventory spots.
Oh, it's not stackable? Oh, I guess not. No, that doesn't make sense.
No. So I don't really like how they made it apply to multi-way as well. But whatever. Yeah, so that's it for that. So with auto retaliate, they're going to be kind of changing this a bit. So whenever movement is prevented by a spell such as Ice Barrage, whilst auto retaliate is selected, you don't always auto retaliate. And when you do, the chat box will get filled with messages saying you're unable to move and, you know, whatever. Even if you have range.
Okay.
So they're changing it so auto retaliate will work properly when you're impacted by spells that disable movement in PvP.
Nice.
Yeah. the next one is, I think, yeah. So the next one is how they want to release the ability, or so I'm going to say it again. And for the next unpulled change, they want to remove the ability to release Black Chinchompas whilst in combat. So currently, if you die in PvP while having Black Chinchompas in your inventory, they would drop alongside you with the pile of loot. Yep. But, you know, you release them before you die, meaning not only do you still lose them, but your opponent also receives nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And so they've taken the ability to do that. This will apply in PvM and PvP combat.
Interesting. I kind of thought this had already been changed at some point, because I remember this was a huge problem where people are going Black Chin PKing and you get like no loot because a guy can just let them go, and then he's like, fuck it, if I'm gonna die, you ain't getting shit from me.
That's how it should be, though.
I don't know. It's a weird one, because at the same time it's like,
well, why do we have a release option now? There's no, in what world are you ever gonna release Black Chinchompas?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Just take out the option. Don't, like, you know what I mean? Like, I get it. It's weird to drop an animal. You know, it's gonna stay there. I get that, but like the whole point of having release was like the only benefit, sorry, to having release is that, oh, I'm gonna die. Well, you're gonna die too. Like, this is putting more items into a market that we don't need to.
Yeah.
Because like I said, this only affects people. This is good for PKers and stuff, but like bots don't give a fuck if they lose Black Chinchompas, and like they get botted. Exactly. Trust me, multiple people have botted multiple bots have botted 200 mil or almost 200 mil hunting before they get banned.
That's crazy. There's a lot of
things
at one point get botted a lot. Another part is the orb charging.
Yeah, but at one point within the front page of the high scores for hunting, I think it was like the top, or like 6 of them near the top were all botted. They were just botters.
Wow.
Like, not someone who decided to bot, like someone who has a bot farm and they have hunters, and like 6 of them have got, you know, to the front page of the high scores purely by botting. So like, it happens quite a bit for Black Chinchompas. It makes sense, but I feel like this helps PKers, but this also fucks people who aren't botting too. Because you're gonna get pissed off, but bots don't get pissed off. They go, oh.
That's the problem. Like, I see why they have to do this, and I kind of agree to it. I mean, I can understand the other side of it, but like with the release option, you will see PKers there, but it's still pretty rare to see them. Now, without the release option, it's like gonna be a lot more riskier, which it kind of should be if it's gonna be in the wilderness to begin with. But it's a weird one. It's oddly controversial in the sense that it doesn't make sense, but
yeah.
Whatever.
Well, the main thing is that Black Chinchompas are the obviously best moneymaker for Hunter, but also the best experience.
Yep.
So if you're hunting, you're pretty much forced to. I mean, obviously you're not, but you're forced to. If you actually want to, you know, save 20 hours of your life, you're going to go to the wilderness and just hunt Black Chinchompas. Like, why would you not? You just bring your best tank gear, get a Din's Bulwark, and, you know, tank as best you can.
Yeah, exactly.
In worst case scenario, when that dude with like 500 mil risk and a clan come and jump you, you're like, well, they're not getting anything because I'm going to release my Black Chinchompas. All right, cool. Yep. All right, awesome. This worked out perfectly. But now it's like, I don't know. I really don't like that. Just take out the release option.
Yep.
It's stupid.
I agree with you there.
Yeah.
Or do something. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Make some, I don't know, like have it where, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, it's a weird one because
let me put them in my menagerie, my POH. I don't give a fuck. Like,
yeah.
It's stupid. Anyways.
I'll keep my pet rock, toy cat, and my fishbowl company.
Yeah, exactly.
Got those things chilling in my house right now.
Oh, do you actually?
Yeah, you get a fishbowl that just sits on the ground and a pet rock. Then you get your fucking mechanical cat wandering around.
Nice. I should do that, but I'm too busy complaining about PvP updates. Yeah, the final change they're making is to the looting bag. I'm pissed about this too, but I mean, this one's a little bit more reasonable. So the way looting bags worked was you could just okay. Let's say let's play not riddle me this, but let's play a little hypothetical. Let's say I'm out killing revenants, and I'm like, wow, revenants give like a fuck ton of money, like the best money maker in the game. I'm gonna go bring my looting bag. I'm gonna go to revenants, and I'm like sitting there. I'm putting everything in my looting bag. It's all good. And then Dilz logs in with his team with the Wild Boys, and they jump me. And I'm like, fuck, I'm not gonna get this loot, but they're not either. So what I would do is destroy my looting bag because my looting bag is gonna be destroyed anyways. And you could purposely destroy your bag, right?
Yeah.
So now they're gonna be changing that, I believe. So it drops everything on the floor.
Fair enough. I mean, it makes sense. Like, yeah, I totally understand being a PK or PKing someone and then they drop nothing because they destroyed it and you're just like, what so, you know what I mean?
Yeah, this kind of ties into the other one. So, I mean, obviously, right now, if you kill someone with a looting bag and they don't, like, their bag breaks and everything goes on the floor. And so you would just destroy it beforehand because you have to get another one anyway, so who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. Food potions will be treated the same way as they apply as dropping in the wilderness, meaning that like if you destroy it, they won't appear. It'll be considered dropping everything on the floor.
Okay.
So this one's a little more like reasonable compared to Black Chinchampas. But okay, so let me say this. If you're like as a player playing RuneScape and you're like in the wilderness, you have like I guess in general, right? In general, you have, 4 resources in the game? Like 4, like I'm not talking like run energy and like weird shit like that. Like just basic, so you have health, you have prayer, right?
Yep.
Money. I guess you can put run energy in there too, but I'm not going to count that. But then time, right? Like those are the 4 main resources and like in RuneScape, but it's applicable to other games, right? Just health, prayer points, your bank value, and then mine or time. Those are like your main aspects, I guess, of anything like related. If I spend like 2 hours killing revenants and I don't leave and everything's in my looting bag for some reason and I destroy it, like no items or money's being put in the game, right?
Yep.
But also time is being wasted.
Yep.
And like you use the time to get money and shit. Does that make sense? Am I like explaining this correctly? So
I think so.
You're kind of getting 2 birds killed with 1 stone if you're doing this. Like, and it's for like pretty much it's for the good of the game. If you were to like, fuck, I'm gonna die. Let me release my Chinchampas I spent 2 hours getting, or I'm gonna just destroy my looting bag I spent 30 minutes filling up. You're wasting your time, which is hindering your ability to make more money and like inflate the economy. That's tiny percentage more. And then also, like, that initial money is being put in the game. And so that's the only reason why I kind of complain that these things happen, is that it's not only, like, all the money is just being wasted. The PK wasted time killing you. You wasted time getting it, which, I mean, for you as a person sucks, but for the good of the game, it's actually good, because when we talked, like, last year and how much money got put in the game just, 2017 alone, and it's because there's so many more players, spending hour here and there, grinding money, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I don't know. I just kind of find it's weird that they're like, no matter, hey, you're always going to be rewarded for killing someone. Which, like, it shouldn't really be the case.
I get what you're saying. Coming from like keeping like PvP healthy, I could see where, sure, for the economy, it's like, you're bringing in more items into the economy, which is going to cause item sinks, or it's going to cause inflation of items and gold. But then if we're talking about like PvP, if we had it the way it was before, you could destroy it, you're going to have, it's like less of an incentive to go PKing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which, like, I get it. You shouldn't always get rewarded for PKing, but at the same time, you shouldn't get fucked so easily from being a PKer.
So
there needs to be like a middle ground, right?
The main thing is it doesn't help PKing because it's the whole going back to the analogy of the food chain. It's making it more so you'd rather kill the rabbit, you know, than the wolf. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, you know, let's pretend you're like a wolf and you got your wolf buddies and you're throwing up your hashtags and you're walking around the woods or the field and you see a couple rabbits killing revenants. Gotta keep it somewhat related to RS. And then you and your buddies drop one and you're like, fuck, this rabbit was thin. It didn't have anything on. That was a waste of time. That sucks. Okay, well, let's go kill another one and another one. And you're like, oh, okay, well, I'm not really getting that much. Maybe this one got me a lot. Oh, okay, you know, that one got away. But then you see like another PKer and like, fuck the animals. We're just gonna go with RS. You see like another PKer and you're like, yo, this has happened to me and my buddies. We're killing people at Rev Caves before the update. And we're like, man, like, you know, we're getting like 100k per kill. That's nice. We're making money per kill. That's nice. Oh, this guy had 400k. Fuck yeah. Like 100k, only 100k per kill that took 30 seconds. And he was defenseless. He couldn't do anything. Like, you know, we'll take that. And these guys, like, no one, like, barely anyone ever destroyed their looting bags. I'm being honest. Like, this wasn't abused that much. Only by, like, the smart people.
Yeah, I never knew you could do it. I died with a looting bag full of shit so many times.
Rip.
Yeah.
That sucks. So,
but like, I get what you're saying.
But like, we'd be PKing like guys and like, okay, 100k, that's fine. But then we'd see a PKer and this actually happened who's got a toxic staff and like full mystic and shit. And his buddies repping the same shit. We're like, yo, we're gonna try and fucking kill them because like that's guaranteed 500k. Sure. We're getting 500k if we kill these Stribers right now. Let's fight them. And plus, it's more fun to fight PKers, honestly.
Oh, definitely.
So we would jump them and fight them back and forth. I'd say Venom's overpowered. Let's tell you out. Peace. And we're out, right?
Yeah.
And like the main reason why we fight them, it's like, okay, we're probably going to die if we fight these guys. But if we kill them, like we kill them both easily 500k each. But also probably closer to $1 million each because of just the shit they brought, their tri-word switches and everything in general. And it's like, we can get their +1s maybe if we smite them out. Like,
yep.
Like, it's very beneficial to like look for other PKers. But now you see like a guy at Rev Caves or a guy at Callista, whatever, you're pretty much guaranteed money. And so why would you risk fighting someone who can kill you when someone who can't kill you could drop more money than the PKer?
I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, like, the reason I'm going to disagree with that mindset is because, like, if you just take out one part of it, like, people are going to be killing the rev. We're going to use the revs.
Yeah, because that's all people do now in the wilderness.
Yeah, exactly. Or go to Vedian and then you AFK and then that one PKer that's out there who doesn't look at the dev blog and doesn't know Rev Caves is a thing. He'll get you. But the problem with that, though, is, like, there's going to be people killing the revs no matter what. And if you allow them to destroy their looting bag and prevent PKers from getting a decent loot, then it's just going to have less incentive of PKers going there. So, like, whether or not there's that food chain that they're trying to implement in the wilderness, it might not be as strong as Jagex or the community wants it to be, but it's still there on a micro scale. And if you just remove, like, things like the looting bag being able to destroy is just going to hurt that food chain from ever existing. Sure, it might not really exist to the extent that people want, but it's still sort of there. You know what I mean? And regardless, like, the PVMers are still going to go to Rev Caves whether or not the looting bag is going to be giving it to the PKers. It's whether or not there's going to be more PKers going to the Rev Caves. And, like, yeah, you don't want to make it easier for PVMers out there in the sense that, like, when you die and they destroy their looting bag, it's just a lose-lose for everyone, right?
Which is fine. You don't have to win in everything.
Yeah, but it's just like you don't want to hurt the people who are PvPing, because then it's going to hurt the people who are hunting PvPers because now they have less people to find. You know what I mean? You're just preventing those PvP battles from ever happening when you make it easier for PVMers just to, you know what I mean? Like, if you look at RuneScape 3 right now, there's not really PvPers. The wilderness is usually flooded with mostly just PVMers. Now, like, just from what I've read.
Yeah,
and
like,
but you don't want that. That would hurt the game way. Like, that right there is not what you want, because that would be really bad for the game.
Yeah, so like, well, RS2 specifically, I know the point you're making. Like, that happens mainly because they've heavily tailored the game towards PVMing and bossing, which is kind of happening to RuneScape right now. OS. So regardless, that's going to happen at some point, but I know exactly what you mean. Where like, why would I kill this guy? He's just gonna destroy his shit, and all I'm getting is like 60k from him. I'm getting his bracelet and his ether, which and his glory, which I still think like, okay, 80 to 100k guaranteed that's decent.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That like, I could go in an hour with my buddy and we walk over the mill each, like PKing at revs and like not getting anything. That's like great. Like if we're killing dudes that are running to the rev caves, you're getting like 60 to 100k guaranteed. Like that is good money for something that you're having so much fun with. It's a trade-off.
Yeah.
You can sit there and spam Zara and you can make twice or 3 times the amount of money, but it's not fun. I want to put a bullet in my head. You know what I mean? Like it sucks. Fuck Zara. Or I can go PK, make like $1 million an hour, and I'm having a lot of fun. Hey, maybe I'll find a PKer and we'll kill him, and boom, there's 800k. That's happened before, where we see one PKer just chilling and he's baiting for his friends like an idiot, and they're really uncoordinated, and we just like rush him down, loot, and peace out before his buddies are like after us. That's super fun. But like, no one like I've never really like, every time I killed someone at the revs, it was like either they just got there, like we see them running and we just kill them anyways because fuck it, or it's like we kill them, we get some addy, we get like a rune warhammer, like they weren't not many people were destroying their looting bags, and a lot of people weren't even bringing looting bags. Yeah, they were just fill up their inventory and they just leave, because I'm gonna leave after 6 kills anyways. Why? You know what I mean? Like that's kind of what people were doing. So,
and plus, if you die, you lose the looting bag. No one's gonna. You don't want to go farm a looting bag every single time after you die.
Yeah, I mean, you go kill bandits near where the Chaos Druids are, and near Vanica. It takes like a minute if you can just one shot them all. But
also another tip, since we're on the topic of farming a looting bag, if you look, it's in 16 Wilderness where the mammoths are, just north of one of the obelisks. You'll see a pond that kind of looks like an 8. Go there. There's level 2 mice that spawn, like 7 of them, and they respawn within like 3 seconds of killing them, or even less.
Yeah.
And every monster in the wilderness has a 1 in 30 chance of dropping the looting bag. So go there, you one hit them nonstop, you'll get it within a minute.
Yeah,
like it's
I didn't
super
know that.
easy. Yeah, it's whenever I need a looting bag, that's where I go to farm it. But bandits are good too, because they're right in the wilderness, like level 4.
Level 1 or whatever, like if you go under Edgeville.
Yeah, they're right there.
Yeah.
So, but going back to the looting bag thing, this definitely needs to happen, because the problem isn't so much that, like, I agree with you that it's okay to have a lose-lose situation from both PVMers and PvPers, but at the same time, when we have something like the Rev Caves where you're making 5 mil an hour, I don't think that's fair, because that's when it's just too crazy.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean. How the PVMers win out over a long period, but like, well, it's not that they win out. I mean, I guess no matter what, if you're going to revs and you're walking out, you're probably going to make money every time, because you're risking, the way revs is set up, you're risking like 100k
if
max. Even. Yeah, right. No matter what. So like at the worst, if you're dying walking to rev caves over and over again, you have to die for like 3 hours straight, and then you're like, oh, okay, this isn't worth it anymore. You know what I mean? Like, the way Rev Caves right now is set up is that PVMers will always win, and that is super intentional. And we'll like talk more about the Rev Caves in a second. You want to just like stop it here then, and we can just like continue with everything else. We'll pick up with the Rev Cave stuff later.
Sounds good to me.
Because I think it's weird that like PKers are guaranteed money from PVMers, but they kind of should be, because if not, like from your point, they should be, because if not, like why would you want to kill them if they're all going to start destroying their bags?
It's this weird vicious circle of like everyone loses in the longevity of the game, which I'm sure we're going to talk about. And again, I'm going to apologize beforehand that if you're sick of the Rev Caves, we're super sorry, but that's just been the topic of discussion since they've been released.
But honestly, it's pretty important to talk about. Like we kind of have to discuss it. Like,
well, yeah, it's what's talked about in the community, and new things are coming to light each week of them, and it's not something we're just going to ignore.
And the main thing is with the buffs coming in.
Yeah, and we're gonna like I said, we're with this podcast every week. We're gonna try to talk about what's going on in the community and stuff like that, and what we're seeing in the game. And if it's rev caves every single week, I apologize, but until something new happens, right?
There'll be a day when we're both doing raids and everyone will send an email saying, stop talking about Xerix. This happened over a year ago. Guys, just keep doing raids like you talk about. Anyways, let's talk about the poll questions. There's 15. Watch none of them go through.
Oh god.
Watch none of them go through because everyone hates PKers. Anyways, we'll start. So the first question: should a warning message be added when attempting to cast any of the wilderness teleports on the ancient spellbook? And they would inform you that, it will take you to the wilderness. It would be possible to toggle this warning on and off.
Yeah, I think that's a good one, especially with the ancient magics. They have weird names, as in they're like really lore related names.
Yeah, Garrock, Dariak, whatever, Dariak.
Yeah, you have the ones you just named, and then you have one that's, what's the one to Canifis? Carol?
Something like that, some weird thing.
Yeah, you have one that's like Carol, and you're like, is that the wilderness? And like, no, that one's actually Canifis. Or you have one that's, I can't even remember the name, but it brings you to the dig site. You know what I mean? You can't differentiate unless you have them memorized.
All right, I'm gonna go teleport to Dariak. No. Log. Like, fuck. What? God damn it. Yeah. So that's gonna be a big no for me. Anyways, so should the wilderness obelisk teleports the locations be ordered according to level rather than their current sorting for these that have completed the hard diaries?
Yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah, I don't know why that's not a thing.
Yeah. What are they, just randomly placed or in alphabetical order?
I'm gonna be honest, I thought they pulled this last year. I swear to God, last year we talked about this. We're like, why isn't this a thing? Maybe not.
It's a possibility.
Because it's stupid that it's not changed yet, but...
Maybe they just forgot.
Poll question 3. Should we add a new world to free-to-play that would act as a PvP world?
This is a very interesting one. That's a really cool thing to bring to free-to-play. But I will say, I think it would be pointless if you don't also bring in teleblock to free-to-play as well.
I agree. Yeah, 100%. The only thing it would change is, like, bots would start using these worlds.
Yeah. Yeah,
because they just instant teleport. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So I think I heavily believe teleblock should be a free-to-play skill.
Yep.
I think it would be perfect, but honestly, that's one of the ones that I am surprised it passed. That's one of the examples people can point to when they say PVMers vote no out of spite, and I go, I don't know what to say there. That one, you got me.
Yep. Should the PJ timer be active in PvP worlds? As it's applied in the bounty hunter worlds?
If it prevents PJing, I think so.
There's a big ragging issue in PvP, especially in the pure community. You fucked this kid up. He is now just gonna rag you for like 3 hours. That's common. I have a buddy who used to PK all the time, and he just started fucking like with these people all the time, just like kept killing them, or like he would get killed, but he would shit talk super hard because he's a big trash talker. Nice guy, but he likes to shit talk, and it's really funny to see. And like what ends up happening is that he gets his clan together, and then like every time he'd go in like PvP worlds or whatever, they would just be chilling there, and they just PJ the fuck out of him over and over and over again. They'd spec telly and run. He'd get into a fight with someone, the guy would sit there and just start brewing or eating nonstop, and then like a guy would come and spec telly him. Or telly, or spec, and then telly out. And then eventually he just stuck to bounty hunter worlds, but with bounty hunter worlds, and because I asked him, because this was me being really ignorant about ragging in PvP worlds, and I probably talked about this on the podcast, and I asked him, because people complain about this, and I said, why don't you just stick to like Edgeville? And the reason is that Edgeville is super like, there's rules, there's unwritten rules. It's the same thing with like Dark Souls and like weird PvP games. Like a lot of like these, RuneScape is a weird PvP game. the way the PKing and shit works is very unique. There's always like rules where you go up, good luck. Yes. Want to fight? Pot up. 3, 2, 1. We go. Okay. Let's both skull. Okay. You know, let's go here. Okay. No, we don't do this. No, you don't teleblock me in edge. I'm just going to walk at the ditch. Don't teleblock me. Use like a proper PK, like a quote unquote proper PKing build. I'm not going to fight a range tank. You know, like weird things like, oh, you're an obby tank. I don't want to fight you because like that's not a proper build. Like there's a lot of really weird rules, and one of them is don't tribrid.
Yep.
Don't tribrid, no overheads, you know, weird stuff like that. But like, and that's why the phrase no honor PKing is a thing, right? Because it's considered not honorable, deep wildy, you know, you're using overheads and tribriding because that's not a real fight. Fight like a man where we Gmol spec and then telly.
And you're right about the unwritten rules, you know. A weird one that it totally makes sense in the game, but if you were to tell someone who maybe didn't play RuneScape and they played other PvP games, the fact that if you heal yourself to full HP, that's a no-no.
Yep. You have to
get called that.
You have to sit in health ranges where they have to get good hits, but also do it properly. They have to execute properly to kill you.
Yeah, you have to sit like 10 health above the max hit, which are like they could get lucky, and then obviously you'd have to be lucky to get RNG to hit you for like a 70. But if you're sitting at a 70 and then you heal to full health, people will be like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah, which like 73 and under at max PKing. It's like honorable quotes because I think it's stupid, but honorable PKing. You sit around 73 HP. And then obviously when they go to like stack and spec you, that's when you eat up.
Yeah.
But you obviously don't just like, oh, I'm 70, I'll let him, you know, whack me with his whip and then AG or double Gmol AGS slap me. Like, no, that's when you start eating. But the thing with PvP Worlds is that there's certain locations, not the GE, but GE is, you know, it's kind of different. But like at the Varrock Square, it's you tribrid with overheads too. You ask, oh, do you want to just smite? Oh, let's know. Like, you know what I mean? Same thing with like Edgeville, around the Edgeville Bank. You hybrid instead of tribrid. A lot of people will bring melee and mage gear, and no overheads. Like there's like, so PvP adds like another layer. So you could easily go from like, you want to get better at PKing, you start at Bounty Hunter World, then you go to PvP World and start at the Edgeville Bank. And then, you know, obviously they're not super set in stone with the PvP worlds because, you know, a lot of people just sit one type of style and stuff like that. And they don't want to fight someone who's tribriding them, which is whatever.
Yep.
So the thing is, if you're getting like ragged by a clan and you're forced to go to Bounty Hunter worlds, like they did what they wanted to do. You know, you don't want to be a Bounty Hunter worlds. The reason why you're in PvP worlds.
Sure. Yeah.
So anyways, I think it's a pretty big change they should make.
Right, for the PJing. Yeah. Do you know what PJ stands for?
Player jacking or player jumping?
Yeah, maybe. I always thought it was player jerking.
Oh.
Just funny how these weird, I don't know, these weird phrases get coined in RuneScape. Like PKing, you don't really hear that in any other game. It's always PvP.
Yeah.
But
I always just thought it was like player jacking because you're just jacking a guy.
Yeah, makes sense.
You're just, hey, you're mine. I'm going to tell you out now, you're not dead.
I remember back in the day playing on my pure account that's my main now, but we would go and be like, let's go PJ some people at Edgeville. Like that was kind of like a technique almost.
Dishonorable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll move on to the next one.
Yep.
Should we increase the current limit to applied? Let me say it again. So poll question 5. Should we increase the current limit applied to the camera zoom out distance? There would still be an upper limit. The render distance would be unchanged. So pretty much making the client similar to OS Buddy and Conduit.
Yeah,
so we don't really notice a difference.
Yeah, it's funny how that is, eh?
Yeah.
The reason, like I was going to ask, like how is this PvP related? But at the same time, there's some parts in the wilderness when you're deep PKing where I don't know how often, you probably don't see this as much anymore, but there are these things called death dots where you'd have 20 people stack on each other and you would stack on top of a hill. So you could see the white dot on your map, but just the way the zoom out is, you could never really see who it was to right click to see if it was a death dot. So it's it kind of adds this element where, like, get the higher ground and you have an advantage. This would kind of prevent it a little bit. Like, you would have to zoom out and shit, which adds, a couple ticks to your game time, and that could cause the team to rush you. But again, it's if you can do it on the other clients, you may as well at this point, because I don't know how many people are playing on the official client.
Yeah.
But that is one element that I always thought was cool with the game.
Yep.
But I guess we're getting to that time where time to take her out.
Yep. Yeah, so the next question is, should teleblock be fully removed when logging out? And I swear this was a thing at one point. Not in old school, I don't think. I think in like RS3 or something. I want to say you were at one point able to log out to remove, or world hop to remove teleblocks. I swear I used to do that when I was a kid.
I remember it being you logged out and then you would just stay logged out for 5 minutes and it would wear off.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I'm wrong, though. This is going way back, so my memory could be shot from then. But, I mean, if you're able to log out, I feel like you should. You got away from that person who teleblocked you, so you may as well be able to log out. You know what I mean?
Yep. When teleblock is cast on you, you get a message saying how long this teleblock's lasting on you. Should the same message be given to the person who cast teleblock?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes I cast it and I am half watching and I can't remember if it splashed or not. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't notice if it splashed or it hit.
Well, the main thing is too, if you have mage protection, you can reduce the duration by half, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, half TB, full TB.
Okay.
And it's kind of hard to know if they prayed it in time. I mean, you're killing kids at the Rev Caves. Doesn't really matter. They're dead in like 30 seconds anyways. In Deadman, we made a change which meant that Protect from Mage would no longer reduce the duration of bind spells. We'd like to offer the similar change, which would only apply to Entangle, the strongest spell. And what they want to do is change it so the protection from magic no longer reduces the effect from Entangle. And this would be in normal worlds, because a Deadman is how it is right now.
Yeah, that's a weird one because, well, I don't know.
Yeah, weird.
I'm not sure about that one.
Well, right now, you're praying magic, you get a teleblock off, and you bind them for 7.5 seconds if you hit it.
Yep.
So
the reason I'm iffy is, like, why do you only do that for the strongest one and not the rest of them?
I'm assuming for like low level pure deep world PKing or something. I don't know.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I'm not too sure.
It could also, maybe people would just start using, I don't really know.
Yeah.
No idea. Yeah. Poll question 9. Should the experience you receive when splashing Entangle be slightly reduced so you know when the bind has been applied?
Sure.
I don't really think this is a big deal, because when you hit an Entangle, you'll get a health experience drop along with magic, because you can do damage with Entangle.
Fair enough.
So that's how I've always known. I guess you can hit it and get a 0, but
to keep it consistent with the way all the other splashes work, makes sense. I feel like, yeah, you want to keep it as consistent as possible.
Yep. Poll question 10. Should we change it so that you're able to attack your opponent for 6 seconds after they've entered a safe zone in PvP world? Right now, you're able to walk in and out of safe zones without being attacked, and this would apply only to players who have engaged in combat with each other.
That one, I don't know enough to give an opinion on, to be honest.
From my knowledge, I would say no, mainly because this would generally affect people who kill someone. They start looting, they get rushed, teleport to their home, smack that pool, take a little sip from their pool, go back to Edgeville, bank, deposit everything, bring out some food, run back in and start looting, and they get rushed again, and then they run back in. You know what I mean? It kind of makes it easier for rushers to chase down kills.
Yeah, fair enough. That's a good point.
Also helps prevent ragging, but I do think rushing is more of an issue than ragging.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know if, like, maybe in some weird way rushing is good for PKing, for the PK scene, but I don't really think it is.
No, I don't think so either.
But I don't really PK enough to do it though, so I can't really.
Yeah, if it was easier to anti-rush, I would feel like it's not a bad thing to have in the game. The problem is like normally a rusher has like the best in slot of all gear, and the person they're rushing doesn't have the best in slots, and you're not really aware it's happening. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
if there were items that helped you anti-rush, but there's not really. The items to help anti-rush are the same items they're rushing you with.
Yep.
So, generally speaking, at least.
All right. Poll question 11. We recently implemented XP drop indicators for those with 200 mil experience. 200 mil experience in those stats. Should they add experience drop indicators for Iron Men in PvP? This would not allow Iron Men to gain any experience in PvP, but they can see how much experience they've gained, and from that they can judge what they're hitting and blah, 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 blah.
Right, that makes sense.
I do think that should be a thing.
Yeah, I never even thought about Iron Man not gaining experience in PvP.
Yes, because some of them do get their emblems through PKing.
Yeah, it's a great way
them.
you can farm off your own alts.
Yep. Well, so. I guess not like that. I don't mean like abusing this. I just meant like some people like straight up PK, but
yeah, definitely there are some people that do it.
Yeah. But yeah. Should the destination of Revenant Cave teleport be moved to the north entrance rather than the south? Right now, the teleport is completely useless, so I'd say yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because no one goes in the south entrance. Should the special attack of the Granite Mall be changed so that? Wait a minute. We'll talk. We'll do the last. We'll do that last because like that's kind of a big one.
Okay.
I forgot to keep in mind. So okay, we're gonna skip poll question 13. We'll do 14. We'll go back to 13 afterwards because it's gonna be a little bit of a discussion. I think. Should it be possible for players to reobtain a Bearhead after killing Kendall in Mountain Daughter quest without fully completing the quest? Currently, if the helm is lost, the player must complete the quest before they get another. Please vote yes on this. It's my biggest fear in my Mauler to die and lose the head.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, you can get multiple ones, right?
You only get one on a Mauler.
Oh.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. Do it up.
So, huge buff to Obby. Well, not buff, but a huge quality of life. Because it's pretty hard to lose the head, but if you do, like, oh boy. You know what I mean? You just lost the best in slot helmet and you can never get it again. And there's not really any, or there is no other peers that have that right now, actually. So I'm a little biased because of my Mauler, but yeah. Poll question 15. Should the color of the spellbook icon change based on which one is currently active?
You know what's funny?
OS Buddy.
Yeah, this blew my fucking mind that this wasn't already in the game.
Yeah,
I thought, because with OS Buddy, when you change your spellbooks, they change purple, or this pinkish one for Arceus, or white for Lunars. Makes total fucking sense. I thought that was just normally in the game. When I played on mobile beta, that was a bug I sent in to say, yeah, this never got changed in the mobile client. Keep your eye out for this one, because I just thought, like, I can't believe that they don't change colors. That fucking...
And it's funny because they probably got a lot of like that. I bet you most people who submitted bugs submitted that along the lines and mobile because no one uses the fucking normal client except for like Sun and Oldschool. The only person I've ever heard who actually uses it.
And I know there are a bunch of people who use it, especially like new players who are getting into this game. And like I was talking to someone in the clan chat, they just got OS Buddy and they were like kind of worried, like, shit, am I gonna get hacked or something like that? And it's kind of a controversial thing in itself where, again, you get this vicious cycle where the default client is so shitty, so nobody uses it, and they use OS Buddy or other clients similar. And those clients are so good and everybody's using it, that Jagex is like, well, nobody uses our clients anyway, so why should we update it?
They've been working on their client pretty hard, though, so...
Yeah, they're slowly adding things. Like, we got the world map last year, I believe.
Yep.
It does make things kind of weird where, like, there's so many problems of accidentally downloading something and you get hacked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You get ratted or whatever it is. So I would love to see the default client to get to a point where you're better off using it. I would love to see it to get to a point where, and this is going to be controversial, but the client gets so decently polished and well done that it's competing with the other ones, where Jagex could just put the foot down and saying, no more of this shit. You know what I mean? Just in case to prevent problems in the future happening.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're scared about OS Buddy hacking your account, let's be real. Unless your bank is over like 20 bill, like let's say like probably 30 bill or something, maybe even more. I actually would want to say like 80 bill, like unless yeah, like you know what I mean, like an incomprehensible amount. It's not worth it for them to steal your account.
Because once the bad, once they get some bad rep going about their client, they make so much money off OS Buddy Pro.
Do you
pay for OS Buddy Pro?
Yeah, I do.
And so do I. So that's $4 a month. Sorry?
I'm going to stop though because Conduit's better.
Oh, really? Wow.
In my opinion, yeah.
There's a few things that I really like about OS Buddy. And so between the two of us, we pay $4 a month for OS Buddy. I know tons of people pay for Pro.
Yep. The main thing with that is this, and the second they find out OS Buddy leaked info and someone got hacked through it, Jagex has the right to ban all clients right then and there. Oh, they will have to probably. And I would honestly, I feel comfortable saying that they make over 40,000 a month off of OS Buddy. Like that's how much money's coming in from Pro, like minimum.
They make a decent amount. It used to be a botting system.
Yep, it used to be RS Buddy, right?
Well, the website still is RS Buddy.
Yeah.
So, it used to be like a botting website where you could pay for scripts and shit. So they're making way more money off doing things legally now, right?
Yep.
So.
But yeah, the second, I would never worry about like OS Buddy hacking you. But yeah. So obviously they should change the spellbook icon. The colors depending on which spellbook you're using. Anyways. We have to talk about poll question 13 because this is the biggest change. This is like the biggest change of PvP in a long time. Well, since Rab Caves, but actual PvP change, like an actual way it works. So poll question 13: should the special attack of the Granite Maul be changed so that each use of it is delayed by 1 game cycle? So this would change the speed of the special attack, and it would make it work similar to how, or not similar, but the same way as how the Dragon Throwing Axe currently does. Mm-hmm. And this effect will still be applied when you use the Granite Maul special after using another weapon special. So when you use it, instead of it being instantaneous, it will be the next tick. Much similar to, the Dragon Well, very similar to exactly how, the Dragon Throwing Axe will be. So obviously it's pretty controversial because the 3-hit stack won't be a thing anymore.
Yeah.
It'll now only be a 2-hit. So here, it's controversial because there's a lot of different sides to this, I guess. And I guess the only reason why it's controversial is because it's so used in PvP. Some people see it as like this is a staple of the wilderness, and some people see it as this is the crutch of the wilderness.
Yeah, because you have PvPers who use it, and exactly what you said. They're like, you can't change it because this is going to hurt people who build their account directly for this kind of PKing. But then you have people on the other side of it being like, this hurts the meta because it's so strong and just it's kind of like toxic, right?
Yeah, it's overbearing in how much you see it. It's like when you're PKing or whatever, you go, all right, so I got all this. Like when I go with my buddies, we go, all right, got my crossbow, check. Got my ice barrage, check. Granite Maul, check. All right, let's go.
Yeah.
That's how, like, why would I bring a DDS? I can just, oh, that's a big barrage. Oh, that's a big crossbow. You just go and inspect. Like, boom.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna say it here. Using a Granite Maul takes no fucking skill. If I never PK and I kill someone with a short bow and a Granite Maul and full Verax, well, minus the piece because I have a leather hide or black D-hide, and I'm able to stack someone out with MSB, go up, smack him with the flail, and then Gmaul spec and kill someone, and we get a mill from him. And I got no idea I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. I'm PVMing, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind
very
of
RNG based.
Very RNG based, but it's very easy to use, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, like there's... it might be tough for you to just go grab one and go PK with it, But you watch one video and you go, oh, that's how you stack it out real quick, where you have to use the F keys a bit, right?
Yeah, but like more or less like you don't have to worry too much about one taking it like other special weapons. Like the execution skill floor is very low. Like anyone can just, oh, I can walk up, whack you with the GMall, and then double click the special, and that's how I do it properly. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then the DDS
exactly.
or like, I don't know if the DDS is a good example, but AGS, you want a one ticket. Okay, so just before my next shot goes off, I want to quickly switch to this and then spec. Like, it's very different in terms of like skill ceilings and whatnot. One takes practice and one takes one attempt trying to get used to how to use it. But
any PvP video that you watch, you'll see it be used.
Yep.
For the most part, unless you're watching like a specific.
No, all of Torves's videos has Gmaul specs. Yep. Every single one of Sir Puggers is him playing a Granite Mauler. Sure. Or some sort of Mauler build. So the thing is these are the two main arguments I see. I see the Granite Maul is overpowered because everyone uses it, and especially in the pure community when we all have one defense.
Yep.
It takes no skill because anyone can kill you from full HP, and that is what makes people not want to play their pures anymore, because it's literally flipping a coin. I'd rather go to the duel arena. I've seen, like, that's a very common argument I see, is that this is why it's broken. It's
most of the times when I got killed on my pure was because I was facing someone with a Granite Maul, and I was just in that mindset of, okay, don't save, boom, you just got dummied. Even
then, I had it where I was fucking around on your account, and I walked up to someone, we're full HP, good luck. All right, threw up my smite, he goes, question mark, you have a smite at level 40, hit him with the barrel chest anchor, double specced him, and he died, and I walked out.
Yeah,
like, he had nothing he could do. He was full HP, we said, good luck, I smited, he question marked, and all of a sudden, he's waking up in Lumbridge with a headache. Like, it's super RNG, and I can see why people don't like it, because the fact that you get stacked out in 3 hits is, it's kind of ridiculous. The other argument I see, and it's kind of counterintuitive, is the Granite Maul is super unique, and within a good PKer will always win, because he can use the DDS special into a Granite Maul special, the AGS special into a Granite Maul special, he can MSB Dragon Two-Hander into a Granite Maul, he can Ice Barrage Granite Maul. Like, you combo the Granite Maul with anything, and it kind of completes the whole build of a, like, execution. You AGS Gmaul spec to get the instantaneous 73, 30, if they're, safe up past 100 HP.
Yep.
And so, then it's like, alright, well, now, if I can't do that, then you have to buff every other weapon. Because killing people will be much harder, and everyone will be teleporting out of fights.
I totally agree with you. I don't feel like this change would be good, because you could still use it to PK. It would still be a very strong weapon to do combos with, but it wouldn't be fucking you know what I mean? Like the way it is now, where it's just like, why bring anything else but the Gmaul?
Yeah. So it's weird that it's common to go, I'm going to bring a DDS and a Granite Maul. I DDS special, hit him twice, throw out the Granite Maul spec. If he's not dead, I have another DDS spec I can throw on top of that and finish him off. It's clearly being abused with like that kind of an argument. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least in my opinion, like it's kind of being not abused but overused.
Yeah, I agree. And so I could be wrong in this sense, but I believe this is only not a recent problem, but a old school RuneScape problem. A while back, and we've talked about it multiple times, but there used to be a bug you could do with the Gmaul where you could prevent yourself from ever taking damage.
Yep.
I believe the reason it is the way it is now is because they fixed it from the way it was before to prevent that bug, and this is kind of the end product. Because I remember back in the day, the Gmaul having something that would pop up that I could be wrong though, but I'm pretty sure it wouldn't work to spamming it 3 times. You can only spam it the 1 time, because it would say you're about to waste your special, because you can only use it to attack instantly once. Maybe I'm wrong here, but
no, you could do that. I think like way back in the day, you didn't have F keys, so you couldn't execute as fast. and you can still spam it out. It's just you would double spec, and then you just do your next auto attack. You just your regular hit afterwards.
Okay, well, I thought it was that way, but if there's anyone else, if I'm wrong on that, please let me know. If anyone listening who knows the correct way of how it was, because I'm just going off memory, and I'm pretty sure that's how it was, and the fix came from the whole bug problem with the Court Beast and shit like that with the Gmaul.
Well, I mean, if you're using the Granite Maul, you're gonna be you hit someone and then you instantly switch to spec. Like that's not really an issue. It hasn't really ever been an issue like that. If you know what I mean, because you're still waiting for the next interval to say, all right, you can attack with your D-Scimitar. You hit him with your Scimitar, and then you double spec, and then you would hit him with whatever. He's dead. You do, like, if you watch PKers, like Torvest and stuff, he will attack, double spec, and then swap to his AGS to get, when the next game interval says you can attack, he'll then hit with the AGS to finish him off. Or if it's a G-Mauler, then they just stick to the G-Maul to whack him afterwards.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
The main thing is that the one tick game cycle, I think it would be a pretty big nerf. What would you feel? Okay, so if they're making it more in line with the Dragon Throwing Axe, how would you feel if they reduced the special attack usage to 30% instead of 50%? Because now you'll be able to eat, you can Shark Karamwan during the first tick, right? You can now tick, or you can now eat during the tick and not die, or after you get hit and he swaps to Gmaul. You'll now have time to eat, which, you eat a Shark Karamwan, like that's going to negate the next hit of the Gmaul no matter what.
Yeah.
There's no way you hit higher than that. So what if you can't eat every single tick.
Yeah.
So what if you get 3 specs that are 1 tick apart?
On paper, that seems all right, because, again, the real problem comes down to just the way it's abused right now, where you can you hit 3 times, right?
Yeah.
Which is just way too... That's just stupid. That seems fair. Again, I don't know enough of how bad that would be. I don't know the numbers. I don't have them in front of me. Because back in the day, the DDS was the staple, because you got 4 specs you could do with that. You double hit with each one of them. Very strong, but it wasn't too abusable in the sense that you just hoped you got lucky with all your specs and you're able to combo them.
The main thing
out.
with the DDS is that if you don't KO with it, I mean, you could potentially out-eat it. Generally, if you eat 2 DDS specs, you could potentially out-eat. You have the opportunity to out-eat it if they don't hit high enough, but you have time to eat, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Unless they're hitting, that's normally what happens. You would hit like a really high combo, and they're eating while you're doing it, and you're hoping your next special is gonna keep out DPSing what they're healing.
And now the Granite Maul, you don't have that opportunity.
You don't have any time to react. You get hit with it. Even if you eat, you're in Lumbridge because of just the way the game cycles work.
Yep.
You die with 20 HP. You're like, what? Come on. But it's just like you ate after you died. So
yeah,
I've seen a lot of people say that this is healthy for the Wilderness on all angles. It would kind of hurt those G-Mauler builds, but you could still G-Maul. It just wouldn't be so OP as it is now.
It would be a little different. You'd probably want to bring like a Dragon 2-hander, possibly to like MSB smack and then follow up with the 1 tick specials.
Yeah, something. But then you're having to talk about getting 60 attacks. So it does change things up.
Yep.
But you could still, magic short bow to a G-Maul, bam, hit him. Hoping, you know what I mean?
Yeah, just kind of, it's more similar to like free to play, right? It's more, it's next level of like another step from free to play.
So it makes total sense.
So honestly, my opinion is I think it would be kind of cool to implement this. 1, if they were willing to revert it, or 2, like if it was like that bad, or 2, if they're willing to change how the special works, like percent, like if they change it to something like 30% first, like, okay, this weapon's super trash, no one ever uses it in the Wilderness, it's really, really bad. Okay, what happens if we allow a third use for it now? Because now Now if you allow a third use, it's good for smiting. It's now becoming like a weapon you can actually use to smite someone out with.
Yeah, like I agree with you there, and that's again, it comes down to the way Jagex nerfs and buffs things, but I feel like this shouldn't even be pulled. It should have been just in the game integrity update where they just go ahead and do it because they know it's not really good for the game, but also being open to buffing it. If this you don't want to nerf it to the ground, you still want it to be a PvP weapon. You just don't want it to be like something that's you can't outplay it.
Yeah,
there's nothing you can do if they get the right hits off. You're just fucked.
Yeah,
you should be able to out eat it or outplay it, but at the same time, that people should still be able to get kills with it.
Yeah,
so there needs to be like a middle ground. Unfortunately, that's the thing. I personally feel like this shouldn't even be pulled. They should just be open to buffing it in the future.
Yeah, like I agree. It's a really big deal, and they should be open-minded to like just changing slowly how the weapon works. And if no matter what it doesn't work, then just you can always revert a change. Like they have to just be open-minded and flexible with how this is.
Or you slowly buff it to get it where you want it to be, right?
Yeah.
You make it so it's still decent, but it doesn't have to be broken.
Yep. The one thing I'm worried about is how this, because right now the Staff of the Dead Pures rule especially now with Fire Surge, but they smashed even beforehand. But they smashed like low level Pures. By far, Staff of the Deads are like the best, and like they're fucking like unbeatable. Because the Staff of the Dead Pures, their special makes is they take reduced melee damage for a minute. For a minute. So G-Maulers had next to no chance. They had to get them low and then get a good MSB hit and then hope to God they max with their G-Maul specs to kill them. Yeah. Hobby Maulers, no, you can't. Don't even try. Literally impossible to kill them. Range specific builds, right? So, like, I don't know, like, if Staff of the Deads get high enough to fight range Voiders and stuff like that and range tanks, but you know what I mean? The most popular builds they kind of beat, and this is kind of like nail in the coffin where like, all right, they're number one. Everyone's going to start playing Staff of the Dead Pures. I mean, they don't take 3 hours to make. They take a long time, but still. It's always good to change things up. Because them changing this Granite Mall also could open up something new and innovative to come out where they go, all right, well, this didn't work. Now the Granite Mall has changed. What if we add an item that was like the old Granite Mall, but let's make it somehow more balanced?
That's the thing. Well, I just think that it just takes balancing this. You do this, it's going to nerf it pretty hard, but then you buff it a bit in a different way, whether it's higher stats or, as you said, giving it a 33% special drain so you can use it 3 times instead of twice.
Yeah,
things
well, they'd
like
have
that
to go with 30 or
so
35 just because increments of 5.
Fair enough. But like,
I know what you
make
mean.
it so it's still as strong, right?
Yep.
Now, do you want some spoilers?
Sure.
It's not looking like it's gonna pass.
Yeah, probably not.
I'm looking at the polls right now. Ain't looking good.
It's just kind of weird that Jagex said that they would never pull buffs and nerfs, and they're kind of doing it. But
because that's the thing, they're so worried about pissing off people. They know that there's going to be some outrage from the G-Mauler community. That's why they have to get better at doing these buffs without having to pull every single one of them because they're so afraid of doing these big changes. So right now, it's sitting at about 50% on both sides. So it's not going to pass, which is a damn shame because this is something that is like an integrity issue. You want to rejuvenate the wilderness, things like this need to be fixed.
Yep.
Because it does nothing but cause people not to want to PK with it. It can still be a PK weapon. You just have to be open to buffing it once you do this change.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people are worried about, is that Jagex might do this change, it's going to be a useless item, and we're never going to see it in the wilderness again, which is also not something you want either. But, here we are.
Yeah, I think, if they did nerf it, I would just start using a DDS in wilderness. You know what I mean?
It's a fine weapon to bring.
I would switch the DDS. I think a lot of people might, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe they will nerf it. Maybe they'll pull it 4 times and then be really passive aggressive and say, all right, fine, we'll just cut the damage in half. Like, you know what I mean? Kind of like what they did to Revs. Exaggerated, but anyways, so that is all the polls. Is there any final thoughts you want to say about the G-Maul?
I think I pretty much said it there.
All right, so do you want to move on to the next segment?
Got anything else to talk about?
Sorry, that is it for the updates. So, I guess with what happened in the community, not too much.
Bringing this on.
Yeah, not too much besides the big outcry for what is Rev Caves.
God fucking damn it!
Ooh, the Rev Caves.
Yeah, people are pretty upset with how the Rev Caves have been treating the economy. Okay, so the main thing we've discussed how much you make a lot of money per hour. Caps to like 5 mil, which is the best moneymaker in the game. And so I'll just give you a rundown for some of the common drops that you get through these revenants, and I'll give you the 1 month's change and how much they've all gone down.
Yeah, it's a good idea. We see a lot of complaining about it, but it's good to take a look at the picture of how much this is actually inflating the community.
Yeah, so, okay, Law Runes. They are 148 GP as of right now. They have gone down 81 GP in the past month. That's 35%.
That's pretty major.
Yeah. U-Logs, they are 261. They have gone down 72 GP, and that's a 21% drop.
Oh, that's my RimWorld moneymaker.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking U-Logs.
Dragonstone Bolt Tips, they are 360. They have dropped 349.
Wow, that's
49% decrease this past month.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, Onyx Bolt Tips, they dropped 478. It's a 5% decrease this past month.
That's still a lot, seeing how they're pretty expensive. And
yeah,
you can alch them for a fair bit.
Yeah, they're hard capped on their alch price. That's why they're not dropping super hard, but they're at alch price pretty much right now. Coal is 129. It's dropped 47 gold. Ouch. And it's a 26% decrease. Manta Rays, they are 782 as of right now. They've dropped 51. That is a 6%.
Okay, so not too big, but
Magic Logs, they're 1,059. They've dropped 51 GP in the past month, 4%. Keep in mind, Manta Rays are linked because, you know, it's an active resource people are using, but logs are directly linked to elk price as well. But
fair enough.
It's still dropping. Black Dragon Hide. Now, this isn't just only revs. It's a little bit of Vorkath too, but it has dropped 255 gold in the past month. It's 8% drop. Like I said, directly linked to an elk price though. Still quite a bit. And Uncut Dragon Stones are 14.5k. They have dropped 3,801 GP, a 20% decrease this past month.
Ooh.
And that's all that I had pulled up.
Okay. So yeah, those are some pretty big drops. Now, this is the problem when you tie all these resources to you know, monster drops and bosses and things like that. Like we've had this problem a couple times now. And here's the problem. You keep things like this going, it's not looking good for the old school community. So I also have some things pulled up here for kind of in line with it, but RuneScape 3 had some pretty big issues with things like this happening to the game. They've done ways to fix it, but anyways, that's not the point right now, but beforehand, they saw this as being a huge problem where it was this money creep, where you just had this problem like Rev Caves.
The main thing with like RS3 is that they had to come up with invention to combat all of this. And invention would never pass an old school. No. Because they have to vote on a new skill called invention, which like is really good, and it's a big item sink though, but it's, you know, it's a new skill, like, you know?
That's the main thing. It's a good item sync for RuneScape 3. I don't necessarily think it would fit it with old school RuneScape,
but just like they had to implement it. Like they were kind of forced to.
Yeah, because the economy was not looking good. And honestly, like Invention did a really good job at fixing the community along with some other things, but we'll get into that afterwards. But Revenant Caves isn't even the first time we're seeing things like this. And that's why this is also a problem, because the Rev Caves are bad. But when you take into consideration all the other times we've seen this problem, starting with Zulrah when it was released, and they've had to nerf it twice now, and it still brings in a lot of resources.
Yep, Zulrah, Slayer in general.
Well, we'll go back with Slayer. You have people who make gargoyle alts where they can just AFK gargoyles because it's such an easy way to make money.
Yep.
So yeah, you have that. Vorkath, when we saw it get buffed, where it drops double the loot, which is bringing in a lot of resources as well.
Wilderness bosses?
Yeah, wilderness bosses. Although that one's kind of more lesser compared to the other ones because...
Well, you still get, like, Venenatis drops 100 snapdragons.
Yeah. Yeah,
100 noted compost.
Yeah, that's true. Luckily, a lot of those do get used up. Not the compost, but the snapdragon stuff get used up in PvP. But still, then you look at the Rev Caves, which is straight in line for everything else. But everything's getting, ramped up just a little bit more than the last one. And that's the problem. You know what I mean?
Yep. So...
And it's...
Sorry, go?
No, I was just saying, it's... If things continue the way they're going, it's not looking good. And we're heading straight to the same problems that RuneScape 3 had.
Yeah, well... If I'm being honest, we're already at that problem where we have too many. I mean, Flax is 1 GP. Rune Essence is 1, 2 GP. It's like nothing.
Yeah, well, if we're talking about those two things, it makes sense when those had to get
because they're highly botted and whatnot. But like
very easily botted. Yeah, exactly.
So the main thing is now with the U-Logs dropping this much in price. I mean, good luck getting a bonded free to play.
Yeah.
Go do Obor. It's probably more money per hour, sadly. Go get Big Bones. 20K an hour. Have fun. Like
go kill those new shamans they brought in.
Yeah. So with specifically like some of these items dropping like this far in price, like okay, Law Runes at one point were like 240 a pop at the end of January. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's dropped like so much. So the one issue is how much money you can make per hour at Rev Caves. Yep, okay, that's annoying. The fact that like straight up gold is being put into the game. Yep, that's annoying. Okay, 16 mil gold drop. That's annoying. Mm-hmm. But also all these skilling resources that are getting thrown in makes like coal, is super fucking cheap. Who's ever gonna mine coal? Like skillers or skilling in general is pretty much dying as we speak.
Yeah, and that's a big problem. Like, we have talked about this in the past, but originally, and I know things have to change and the game has to adapt, but before, bossing and, like, Slayer and stuff, it was decent. It was okay money, but really it was, like, inconsistent money. But when you got that big drop, it really paid off. You're waiting for that big drop to profit. And skilling was the way you did your consistent money making.
Yeah, there was a balance of... You would skill to get money to do bossing and Slayer, and if you did similar to like how raids are now, even though raids you still get a lot of like resources, but I get 3 mil an hour after I put in 35 hours, right? I put in a lot of time, boom, big payout. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how it was, and you needed to skill to make some money if you had a bad streak or something. And the fact that the Bandos or something isn't profitable until you get that big drop would make those drops even more money because people don't want to do it hoping, they get the big drop.
Yep.
And there was a good balance of skillers and, PVMers, but as they constantly keep catering towards PVMers, skilling kind of gets pushed out where this literally happened in RuneScape where they came up with bosses that dropped noted Cerebrews.
Yep. Where
now you don't need to make them anymore. So no one's ever going to train Herblore. Like, it's kind of useless. These are so cheap, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. It's super bad because right now we don't really see you notice like, oh, wow, blowpipe went up a mil. Oh, wow, that sucks. That's kind of unfortunate. But what happens in a year from now? Like, it's all long term.
Yeah, that's the issue.
Yeah, like, we don't see the effects right now. We hear the complaining now. Like, we kind of do with everything dropping in price, but like when panic sells are done, we're going to notice it go up a little bit, but then slowly go down to the price where it's not even worth.
Yeah,
like,
and that's... And that's the thing. And not only like long term, but also with the new upcoming updates, or like not just like long term of the Revenant of Cain's being here, but also on the terms of future updates coming out, where like, you can't bring out raids and offer it being 1 or like 500k an hour. You could, but people would be greatly opposed of that, because like, why do the raids too when you can just go and do rev caves and make way more money from that?
Yep.
And then the problem is like, so I have this post here where someone's kind of comparing old school RuneScape with RuneScape 3, where it's definitely heading in that direction. Skilling is dying. Like people a lot of people still do it, but the money you make from skilling itself is just becoming obsolete at this point. And if it continues, it's going to be, who's going to be doing it? Bots. Like, I don't even know, right?
Yep.
So the post linked it to a new boss that came out in RuneScape 3 called Telos.
Yep.
And a lot of its loot comes from just pure resources. And the loot table that's showing, he has 2,000 kills. And the money he made from that was 22.7 billion gold. So gold per hour is roughly about 98 mil per hour.
Jesus Christ.
So I know that boss works a little bit differently, where the more times you kill it in succession, it starts dropping better and better stuff. It gets enraged and he starts doing more damage, it becomes harder to fight. But the point is that they had this problem where things just kept ramping up, and if you look at some of the newer boss that just came out, this is what it's dropping. And if we continue on this path, we might see ourselves in a similar situation where Raids 2 is offering 7 mil an hour in resources. Raids 3 is offering 15 mil an hour in resources.
Yeah, the real frustrating thing is you don't take any damage because you have your Bracelet of Ethereum. Okay, yeah, you might get killed by PKers, but the money's still being put in the game. And like, if you're not stupid, you can just sit in like 30 and just teleport out. Like it's
as soon as you see someone who doesn't look like a rev killer,
jump out of there. It is so easy to not die at rev caves. You just have to like sit at the bottom and just fight over the one dude, or like, there's 3 guys you can sit in 30 minus wilderness. I don't know, it doesn't matter, but dying isn't the issue with rev caves. Like, issue is that it's 5 mil an hour. I mean, that's obviously capped out. You're like, if you're like 80 range with Eagle Eye, you're not making 5 mil an hour, obviously, but you can still make 1 mil an hour. That's more than fair. Yeah. And with those stats, that's a lot of money to be making. Like 3 mil an hour at raids, like, I don't even know how much I make at Vorkath. Let's just say it's 2.5 mil an hour at Vorkath. Zara, you can make upwards of 3 mil an hour, but Rev's Cave is better than all of that, where you just fucking hit something that doesn't hit you back. Like, what the hell?
And look at Zulrah. You need to do, I can't remember what quest it is to be able to access it. Roving Elves or something?
Something like that.
Anyways, you need that. You need to have a decent range and mage level. You need Void or decent gear. Vorkath, you need Dragon Slayer 2 done and some decent gear. Raids, you need a all-around high account and with decent gear. But the problem with Revs is technically a level 3 could walk in and fight them. Whether or not they're going to get kills is another story, but they could just walk in and fight the Revs. But like right now, it's a little bit more competitive, but things will die down as people kind of don't decide not to kill them or something like that. And you're not going to need fucking 80 range to kill it. You could go there with 70 and be able to find a world that's a little bit more empty and just spend the time killing it. You don't need good gear. You just need a blowpipe and then black d'hide, right?
Yep.
And you're still going to be making decent money. But the other ones, you need to... There are these barriers preventing you from doing it. People are going to start making rev alts.
They probably already have rev alts, let's be real.
Yeah, and like...
all you do is just set them up with a cannon.
So it's a little worrisome. A lot of people are talking about... A lot of people just say straight up remove it. I don't know if that's a good idea. It's so a lot of people really wanted it and really liked the idea of the rev caves, just it was poorly implemented, and it just needs to be fixed in some way. And one of the ideas I've seen I don't know if I agree with this, but I'll just put it out there. Submitted on Reddit by Lavosky. They said, delete the rev caves and have the revs roam the wilderness, kind of like how they used to be.
See, here's the thing. This is literally going in the direction of RS3 with the rev caves and everything, but the main thing is that from what I thought they were explaining the rev caves as was, hey, do you remember revs? You loved them, right? Oh, you didn't like them? Well, that's fine. They're going to be in a cave that, they're just going to be in their own cave. You can go there and make some money if you want. It's not a big deal. Mm-hmm. PKers actually have a dedicated spot to go and clear if they want. It's not a big deal, whatever. Yep. I don't want, I would never go in the wilderness if I start having, I don't like revenants. I didn't like them when I played pre-OC, even EOC. I don't like the concept of these guys that eat and teleblock you and, barrage you. Some people do, but that's not 2007 Scape. It's we're Rev Caves already isn't, but this is really just called pre-EOC Scape.
Which, and some people want that, but I mean, there are some cool things you could take from that, but not like this. You know what I mean?
I would say not like this. The whole point of them being in a cave was that if you didn't like them, you didn't have to deal with them.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why I was kind of okay with it, because I don't even do revs right now. I could have done 35 hours of revs right now and been fucking loaded.
Mm-hmm.
150 mil bank today, cash stack, sorry. I have 150 mil cash stack right now, chilling, and I opted not to because I think rev caves is I'm very against them, especially now with the buffs. I was even against it when you could get up to 2 mil. You know what I mean? If an average player was making over 500, if you're when I say average, I mean 70-ish. If you're level 70 making over 500k an hour there, I still think that I think that's a little fucked. Because people complained about Ents, and you know what I mean? Because Venezuelan bots or Venezuelan gold farmers would kill Ents and dragons. People complained about people killing dragons, saying, "No, look at all the bots here." It's no. It's going to get to a point where I mean, I know what they're doing. Everyone's going to be so upset. They're going to say, "All right, fine, we'll undo everything we did, and we're going to put back uniques." So we're not going to change them at all.
Yeah, that's the issue.
And here's the thing. I would be okay with that armor if they just made it untradeable. Because, I keep going back to that, but, PKers want it. Okay, go fucking get it. You know what I mean? Don't let some PVMer go grind it for you.
I just felt like the stats were just way too much. You'd have problems. Kind of how, we have with the Gmall. Where, you go grind it yourself, but then, the rushers and... You know what I mean? We talked about it before. You're much more beneficial from rushing with it. But I see what you're saying. If it's untradeable, if you just tune them down a bit, lots of things you could do with it.
Well,
but
the main thing, if it's untradeable, they're going to have to spend 100 hours, let's just say 100 plus hours grinding out a full set. You're not going to see that many people rushing you. They might have one piece. Oh, that's kind of annoying. But you know what I mean? That's when I say it's untradeable. It's they can't just run to the GE, buy a full set and kill you. They have to put in the time and hope they get everything. But, they might get killed in the process. But this whole thing, I guarantee you, it's just say, Monaieza is just flipping off the community saying fuck you guys. I stole all this work from RS3 and you guys don't want it.
It's you kind of felt like you're held hostage because next time you should have just voted yes on the armors. It's just
it's super fucking shitty, and it's really disrespectful to the community where we don't want this in the game. Well, I want it. Okay, well, no one else wants it. Good for you, man. Well, I put in time. Well, good for you. It was a bad idea.
Some people did want the rev caves, but
the majority
we felt like we're held hostage a bit, where it's just well, next time you should have just voted yes to the armors that nobody liked. It's just well,
and here's the thing. What happens if these... I remember they originally said that the Raids 2 armor would be as good as Barrows, but in the Raids, they're going to be best in slot.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't they just do the same treatment to PvP armor? I don't know, but what if they
that was the idea, right? But they were really best in... I think that was a big problem. They were really best in slot.
And they were degraded. Good for PVMing too, right? You could crash the fuck out of people.
Well, they changed... remember this... The second poll came out where they said it wouldn't be able to be that good in PVM.
Oh, okay.
So they fixed it there, but a lot of people said 1, very strong armor. 2, the degrading, you just kind of opened it so that when you're at 5% left of like durability, you get your friend to kill you, gives back your money. You know what I mean? You don't lose as much on it. He gains a little bit of money, whatever it is, right?
Yep.
So they just had some problems, and it just really seems like they were like, okay, you know what? Fuck it. Like, why spend more work on this? Coming up with a way of making it work. Why don't fuck it? Let's just put uniques. Fuck it. Let's just put alchables and pure cash to come in.
Yep.
It just seems like the lazy way out.
But like, what happens with raids too? What if they put out stupidly strong armor? What if they just pulled like this fucking PvP armor, but it's, for PvE, and everyone goes, no, we don't want that in our raids too. We like everything else. We don't like the stats. All right, fuck it. 10 mil an hour. Let's go.
And that's the problem. I feel like this is bad for the community because now you're going to be like, do I even vote for Raids 2? I want Raids 2 to come out. It looks sick. The idea of it's cool. Armor looks really good. But are they going to hold us hostage to vote for the armor as is?
Yeah, well, they kind of already have, and they kind of set a precedent of if you vote no on unique armors and power creep, then we're going to kill the economy.
Yeah. But like, you know what I mean? And what's a shame is they never did that for Raids. They pulled a bunch of armor. They tried to do a bunch of things. Some of it didn't pass, but they just kept reworking things until they got a good drop table. And then you have some random items like the Dragon Harpoon, which is kind of random that it comes from there. But we still have the Ancestral. It failed the first time. They proposed 2 other pieces of gear, which was ranged and melee. Both of them didn't pass. So yeah, they took them out, but they didn't just load the drop table up with fucking alchables and resources. They brought in other things that would work.
Yeah, you do get resources still. Like you get, if I have a good raid, I get like 400k worth of resources.
Yeah, but you're not doing it for that.
Yeah, I'm doing it for the big items.
The ancestral robes that you got. Like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like that is exactly why you're doing it, for the uniques.
Yep.
Which is just how it should be.
Yep.
It's just a damn shame that Rev Caves didn't work out to be that way.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of annoying, and like honestly, worst case scenario is they keep the same value on them and they disperse them out in the wilderness. Like that would honestly make me not want to play. Like this is making me not want to play that much. Even though like the only thing keeping me into RS right now is how much I really just enjoy raids for fun. Like that sounded dumb, but I heard like of course I enjoy it for fun, but it's kind of, you know what I mean? I really just enjoy doing it. It's so much fun. Getting the item was nice, but the 34 beforehand was like, I fucking love doing them. I mean, I'm still, you know, I haven't hit 1,000 kill count yet, so I'm not fucking bored.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, yeah, I don't know. If that wasn't keeping me in the game, like I would slowly be like pushing myself away, because like a lot of this shit is like, it's really annoying. And like I was complaining about this like months ago, where like I'm saying that this is going to be an issue, and everything people are complaining about right now are things I've already brought up. And it's not like I'm some time lord. It's like, no, this is kind of obvious, and people are saying like, what's happening with the next raids?
Yeah. And like a lot of people were talking about this when it was first happening, right? That's why we had so many episodes talking about these revs coming out and stuff like that, and why it was like very controversial. I have another idea. Well, I don't have an idea. This comes from Troyal Roy from Reddit. Now I don't know how much this would fix it, but this could just be a way to prevent people from flooding the rev caves and bringing in all these extra resources. So the next change that was proposed is attacking revs or entering the cave results in you becoming skulled. This would cause less PVMers to be farming revs, so now you're risking a lot more. Thus, not as many are dying and not as many resources being brought into the game.
Is it okay? I wasn't sure if it was going in or attacking, but it's either or.
Well, I'm thinking this one says attacking revs, but I'll throw them both out there.
Oh, okay. Doesn't really change anything because it's still a lot of gold coming into it, and the issue at revs is people just one item. They bring D'hide, they don't care about D'hide, and they bring a blowpipe.
Yeah.
And okay, you might be able
enough.
to get smited, but like, let's be real, it's still pretty bad. Like, I don't really think that would change anything. It might deter some people, but Like, the issue is that you can go into rev caves and just drop a fucking dwarf cannon and, like, oh, now I've dropped in the back of the room. I'm gonna just sit here, kill these, like, 3 bottom guys. Like, it's, the issue straight up is just the money. They honestly have to reduce it by, like, a fifth. Like,
yep, that's fair.
Like, I think at max gear, it should make you, like, I don't know, 1.5 mil. Like, it shouldn't make you a lot of money. It should be shit. It should be really bad money per hour. Because it's so easy to do. It's like, you can't, well, you can safe spot it because you have the bracelet, but, you know, like, Ents you safe spot and you're making 500k an hour and all that stuff, and it's nice AFK money. So this, like, you know, maybe, like, if you're an average player making 800k an hour, might be, like, that's still good money for, like, a lower level player. That's the thing. You shouldn't be making a lot of money when you're low level. You should be struggling to get your first whip, and it's exponential, right? Mm-hmm. Just like experience and just like bank value and shit. Every piece of gear you get, and that also comes with level, like, helps you unlock other methods of making more money, and it, like, snowballs where, like, I'm level 60 and I shouldn't, like, imagine, like, all right, well, let me get my salve amulet. Let me, AFK NMZ for 99 range.
Yeah.
Okay, I got 44 prayers, so Eagle Eye's okay. I'm gonna make, like, 3 mil an hour, and I'll do that for, you know, 10, 20 hours, 30 hours. I'll just do that in all my free time for a week. Okay, now I have the best prayer for range rigor. Okay, now let me just grind out some bones. Okay, now let me go to the altar in the wilderness and spend half the money to get 70 prayer. Okay. Nice. Now I'm going to be making like 4 closer to 5 mil an hour. All right. Well, now I should start dropping my cannon here. Okay. Now I'm making 5 mil an hour. You know what I mean? Like, it's so much money that you can see in the near future at a level 60, where, like, within like 2-3 months, you're now, and not even like grinding every day. You're just NMZing range in your free time, because it's pretty AFK.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah, this leads to another kind of conversation to have. And it's not directly talking about the rev caves, but we're talking about gold sinks and item sinks. They've tried this numerous times in the past. They have a bunch of things implemented into the game to be gold sinks. Construction, probably one of the first big ones. Huge money sink that was implemented a long time ago, back in the original game. Yep. Barrow's armor is one of the first ones as well. And because, again, when rev caves was first introduced, they thought this armor that was going to come with it was going to be a big gold sink, but didn't turn out. It kind of did the opposite, didn't it? Since the armor didn't show up. And in RuneScape 3 that we were talking about before, they have some ways they added some things that became item sinks and gold sinks. One of them being invention, as we talked about, where you break down gear and armor and stuff like that, and resources to get these components for that skill. And another one they did, and we've talked about this in the past, is when you die, you get sent to Death's Lair, where you have to pay, like, a percentage of the gear you lost, if I'm not mistaken. And they've talked about that right now, because right now when you die, your gear, everything just falls to the floor. You have an hour to go pick it up, and kind of like with you in raids, where you suicide, drop some stuff on the ground, you go back, and now you have your little extra inventory sitting on the floor for you to pick through.
Raids is like a safe death, so it wouldn't really affect raids.
No, yeah, exactly. But I'm just saying the way you do it, I do the exact same thing, but with Cerberus and other bosses, where I could just, okay, I die there, I'll just run back, and now I have now I can do the trip twice as long because all my stuff's there.
Yeah.
So they've talked about that. I think that would be a great to implement. But another one I saw brought up was having, so it's 2 things. There's one, add attacks to the Grand Exchange. So like 0.1% taxing.
It should be like a 5%. It should be, you put an item up, I'm going to sell this for 6 mil, and when the person buys it for 6 mil, 5% of that money is gone. Like, most games have a tax for that reason.
Yeah, MapleStory was a big one that I remember.
World of Warcraft auction house.
Yeah, whenever you traded over a certain amount in MapleStory, they would take off a percentage, so you started losing a fair bit of money, but that was their gold sink. The reason it was just I just said 0.1% was because this starts causing problems with people who merch on the Grand Exchange. So Yeah. Another one that was proposed by Lorenz on Reddit was the 0.1% of the 0.1% tax, but that money would get stored. And let's say you went to go buy a twisted bow. You bought it. 1% of that would get put aside. And when there was enough from enough people buying twisted bows that it equaled the amount of another twisted bow, that money would get bought from the Grand Exchange would automatically buy it from somebody else and destroy that weapon, causing an item sink instead of a gold sink.
The only issue is what happens with fluctuating prices. They're gonna have to start hard setting some prices.
Yeah, that's true.
Like look at Ellie. It was 1 bill at one point.
Yeah.
Dropped down to 200 mil at another point.
So yeah, that's true. So that again, people are starting to look at these. Are starting to pitch ideas for gold and item sinks because who knows if this is going to get fixed in the future. They have talked about on different live streams that they're still going to try to put out some items in March and see what people think of these new uniques. But again, people are starting to suggest ways of doing item and gold sinks to just in case if Revs doesn't change, right? It might not ever change.
Yeah.
Hell, it might get buffed again at some point.
Yeah. It's funny how when Zara was at its peak, everyone memed on it. And then they nerfed it, and we're just sitting here going, all right, what's the next Zara? Oh, no, it's not a boss. It's little ghosty boys.
Well, it was a boss first, Vorkath, and then people just forgot about that one when Rev Caves came out. So.
Well, they nerfed Vorkath drop again. Like they brought him down a little bit, but also like it's annoying because people freak out about Zara. They take 2 years to fix it. Like, oh, thank God. And they come with Vorkath, and everyone freaks out how shitty it is because it was really, really bad, to be honest. Like, it was kind of understandable to bitch about how bad it was. And then they made it Zara 2.0, and like everyone's like, what the fuck? 5 mil an hour at Vorkath? No.
Yeah.
Then they go and they nerf it a bit, and then they come up with Rev Caves, then they go and buff Rev Caves, and then it's 5 mil an hour, and it's like, what are you guys thinking?
Yeah. It's problematic.
It's really annoying how like constantly there's something to complain about where it's giving too much money.
Yeah, and it's if the community, okay, this is what's funny. If the community is outcrying about people of them making too much money, there's an issue, right? People love making money. People want to be rich in this game. They have tons of items they're saving up for. But if you know people are bitching about, man, we're making too much money, there's definitely an issue there.
So I don't know. But yeah, that's fucking pains of Jagex economy.
And I'm sure it's not going to end here. I'm sure we're going to have plenty more to talk about in the future. But to prevent us from talking too much longer, because we're running this one a little longer than usual.
Let's continue.
We'll move on because there's just, I think, one more thing to touch on. And it has to do with the winner of the Dragon Slayer 2 competition. So there was a competition to make a YouTube video going through all the lore of Dragon Slayer 2, just Dragon Slayer 1. The player who had won it has still yet to receive their reward, which was a new RuneScape machine by Chill Blast, a new PC.
Yep.
So I just wanted to touch on this. Just kind of interesting because they do kind of have a bad reputation of doing this in the past. And yeah, he had posted that there was multiple screenshots of him trying to get in contact with Jagex and trying to get, an answer about his prize to be coming in the mail, and he's still kind of waiting on it. It's been almost 2 months now. Yeah, although Mod Sween did say that he made a post saying that he, they apologize, it's been taking so long. The Jagex mod who's in charge of giving the PC has had to put it on the back burner because he's been busy, had his hands full with other things. But it should be coming in the future. And he just apologized for, in the past they had some issues of people not receiving their prizes until it became a top post on Reddit and stuff like that. So it's kind of an issue, but hopefully he does see it soon. Just want to bring that one up because that one made a little bit of publicity this week.
Yeah, Jagex is notorious for, sorry we're taking a little bit longer than we expected. We'll get that out to you soon. But the amount of this guy having to contact Jagex on every platform was a little ridiculous.
Yeah, that was the problem. And to get like actual updates of, hey, or like, you know what I mean? Getting it, you should get like a preemptive email being like, hey, it's going to be a bit later than usual.
Well, here's my issue. He sends like 30 tweets, messages them on Facebook, messages on their Facebook posts, sends things on his RuneScape account, like messages the Jagex admins on his RuneScape account, DMs them, does everything. But the second he makes a Reddit post, that's when they're like, oh, that's awkward. Like, fucking, like, oh my god. Do they only use Reddit? Like, do they have like a bot that just posts automated tweets every 24 hours?
Yeah, that's the problem. Not everybody uses Reddit. And, you know, I hear it all the time. We get messages, people being like, what is Reddit? Should I be using it?
Yes and no.
But yeah, exactly. But yeah, it is popular, but it's by far not, the majority of players don't use it.
It's a big hive mind. It
is a big hive mind, but it's the same idea as of like Twitter. Majority of the players aren't using Twitter.
Mm-hmm. But it kind of seems like it because there's a lot of activity on RS or like, you know, in the RS Twitter world. Like, yeah, they're bubbles.
Yeah, exactly. They are bubbles. So just wanted to bring that one up. And that's basically it for the RuneScape news and community news. Which means we'll bring it right into lore. Luckily, this should be a shorter one, so we're not going to run this one too long because we have touched on a bunch of this stuff before. So let's just get right into it. So this week, keeping in line with the other races, we are talking about the elf race. So a lot of this you might have heard before because when I talked about the god Saren, it is almost directly related to the elves, so a lot of it is linked. I'll try to leave most of that stuff out, just also prevent this episode from going on too long. But yeah, here we go. So the elves are one of the longest races living in Gielinor. They have witnessed many events, including the passing of the God Wars, which they did not partake in, and they've seen many other races be destroyed. They retreated beyond the mountains during the God Wars to stay out of the conflict, but very little is known about the elves. They worship their own unique deity called Saren, who communes through crystal seeds and is able to contact and build with them. Though their main settlement is Prifddinas, which has a number of crystals that are used to build that city, which were given to a handful of other elven families to make their own towers within the city. But there are also skirmishes that break out from other tribes in the lands of Isfidar. There is currently a civil war going on between the elves from the city as well as rebel elves that live in the settlement Liletia. No human knows how this civil war began, but scholars all agree that this could easily be the end of this once powerful race. Prifddinas is thought as to be one of the first major cities built within RuneScape and was built before the Great God Wars began. There currently is no information when the elves arrived, but they are known to be one of the first races to have arrived in Gielinor. And that looks like that's it for this week of lore. Told you guys it'd be a short one. Yeah, moving right along. I guess this brings us to the end of our show, but I think one thing that we should touch on is we had a past event happen on February 17th, so last Saturday, and it was a pretty good turnout. So it was a giveaway event given by a friend of the show, Booley. We talked about it before. He made a real-life Dragon Dagger as well as a Dragon Dagger keychain. And we decided to have a little drop party in the Falador party room. It was a pretty good turnout. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, a shout out to our two winners. Lazy Cook on winning the Dragon Dagger, as well as, do you know who won the Dragon Keychain?
Someone who's out 120 mil.
Someone who's out at 120 mil.
The joke is that I won the keychain, and I was implying that I bought it. Like, we're endgame gold. Because I won I won the keychain. Yeah,
so it's yours truly, Dingus Magoo over here, winning the Dragon the Dragon Dagger keychain. So that was pretty cool. It was a really cool event. So I want to thank Bully and everyone else for coming out for that. That was a great time. And yeah, hopefully to have more things like that in the future.
Yeah, it was fun. We got everyone together. We were all on Discord, pretty active. It was a good little time.
It was a lot of fun. And yeah, that's basically it. Last thing I want to mention, we had a comment on YouTube by RS Kiss the Fish, and they wanted to make a correction that World 1 is in fact an American world. You mentioned last week that it was British.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Weird.
But yeah.
They must have changed it with this last update or something, because
yeah, they heard it. They instantly changed it
Yeah.
just to fit in line with your ping.
Yeah.
Some good stuff there, but yeah. And you know what time it is? It's time to plug our everything connected to the show. So if you guys want to follow us on Twitter, it's at The Wilderness RS. Our Facebook is facebook.com/The Wilderness Podcast. Our email is thewildernesspodcast@gmail.com. And our in-game clan chat, if you want to come hang out with us on Oldschool RuneScape, it is WildCC. And our Discord is on both Twitter and Facebook, but if you're having trouble getting in, just let one of us know and we will get you a link so you can come hang out in there as well.
Yep. My Twitter is Deagin RS and my Twitch is Deagin RS. I don't tweet too much. I'm going to start tweeting a lot more this week. Be a little more active.
Perfect.
And then Twitch, I don't have a schedule right now. I just, I got free time or I want to go play some RS. I'll go stream it. I've been streaming I've streamed 4 or 5 times this past week, quite a bit. Maybe even, I try to do it every day, but I can't. Don't always have the time. But yeah, I go live quite a bit.
Yeah, so if you guys want to watch some Dingus Magoo in action, doing some raids, solo, sometimes duo, definitely check out on there. And I think that's about it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, time to run off and get to those rev keys before they get nerfed. Got to make a pretty penny before that happens.
Yeah, I'll see you guys next week when I have 150 mil cash stack.
Yeah. All right, guys. See you guys out there. Have a great evening. Have a great day. Have a great morning. Whatever time you're listening to this at. Later, Gators.
Peace. Have a good one.